All right.
Yes.
So, let's just do let's just do a small clappy clap it.
Yes.
So, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
Good.
I hope that actually picked that up. I think that
That's
was a
fine.
pretty small clap from
I'm
me.
sure it'll work out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
It's at 17
All right.
seconds.
Okay, so let's just get into it. Welcome back to Digicord Radio, everyone. I am, of course, Will the Dill, the legend himself, and we have another legend called Edubs, of course,
Hello.
and we have another legend, but like a big legend, Darkonius, the owner of the server, and the German Zaku.
All bow.
Introduce yourself.
Legend in 3 parentheses in every case here, of course.
So, Dark, you had a lot of issues with some of the things that were said in the past episodes, right?
There were a few things. Like, for one, water, I'm not Dark Kosick. Dark Kosick joined sometime in early 2018. I'm not that guy. Even he was confused if I was him. But I'm not him, and he left in like late 2018, a month
Alright.
after I joined. So I was not there in the beginning.
We'll get into that. First of all, I just want to say that before recording this, I was recording another podcast on Miki's channel for the Symphogear GX analysis podcasting that we do, and it was really good. It was really good. I'm sorry, not Symphogear GX, Symphogear Galaxy Cross, as we memed a lot. And when this comes out,
You mean
of
Yu-Gi-Oh!
course, yeah, I
GX.
also mean Yu-Gi-Oh! It's no secret that Symphogear is very closely related to Yu-Gi-Oh! But yeah, just go listen to it on Miki's channel. It's going to be great. Edubs, you were called out because your stupid takes on GX. But yeah, it's great. You guys have anything going on?
Not much other than working and playing Guilty Gear and Planes and
Wh-
sometimes watching anime.
We're working at Taco Bell, by the way. I don't think that was established, right?
Yeah, currently. Although I do have something more in my field, which is IT for the unaware, coming up soon, possibly. So,
Based.
yeah.
Based. All right, so see, I was announcing, well, not announcing, but I was just telling people because they were curious of like, who's going to be the next episode, because like I was messaged by a bunch of people that are like, oh, get me on, get me on. And I was like, hold on, next is Dark, okay, next is Dark. And so I got some ideas by some people because they're like, oh, it's Dark, all right. So I received the idea, of course, of this podcast being me and Edubs indoctrinating you into making me a mod. So is that going to happen or not?
Damn,
No.
the confrontation. The single word,
That's
no.
unfortunate. No, I'm sorry. I'm joking. at this point,
You should know that it's impossible to convince
yeah,
me of anything.
I'm very aware. I mean, that was discussed in other episodes, right? It's just you're extremely stubborn, and I mean, it's funny. It's just funny.
I've always been super stubborn. It's just something I've always done. But the thing is, I'm always right. Can't help
Of course
that.
you are. Of course you are. That's so Nyarda so just he just
Never had a wrong opinion.
he told me to ask you, why are you not watching Symphogear? This is not me, by the way. This is Nyard, and he can confirm it. Why are you not watching it? Or do you plan on watching it? And when?
I'm not watching it because I'm watching other stuff. Maybe I'll watch it at some point. Sometime between Monogatari and
Hunter x Hunter.
Clannad. With
Yeah,
Clannad
don't
being the
forget
closer
Hunter x
one,
Hunter.
actually.
It's gonna be
sadly.
somewhere in there too.
Yeah, I'll watch it right after Hunter x Hunter 99.
God fucking damn it, Dark.
Get fucked, Edubs.
You know I will watch 99 first. You knew from the very start.
All right. So
The game was
Dark,
rigged from the start.
tell us about the beginnings and how the fuck did you even end up as being the owner here? I mean, we all know, but and also make the corrections that you wanted to make, and we can discuss everything. It's gonna be great.
Okay, I'll start in 2016 when I got into anime,
Good.
actually. And also, as a retort to Nyad, I basically had the opposite experience in school and growing up. I never experienced that atmosphere in my school. Like, I experienced bullying and bullshit like that in the 5th and 6th grade. But, like, it was literally, we called it the orientation phase, where people who didn't quite qualify for that tier of schooling, because German schools are
Right.
tiered, of course. Like, if you have better results in elementary school, you can go to the gymnasium, which immediately qualifies you for a bachelor if you graduate. Stuff like
I
that.
see.
And the idiots from that time were in there, and they were being idiots, and they picked on me because I was the quiet kid. And after that, nothing happened anymore. Anime was never a topic. Being a big masculine guy was never a big topic. I mean, in the 5th
See,
and
Nyar-
6th grade, I didn't
This is
care
because
anyway.
Nyar is very self-conscious, and it's not like he got bullied. He got peer pressured into all of that, which is a fairly different thing. But yeah,
I just never felt any pressure, because the people I had any pressure from were the ones I never had any connection
yeah,
to anyway.
exactly.
So it
I
didn't
mean,
matter.
if you don't have peer pressure to get into something or to not be like you are, I mean, of course, that's when you get bullied.
And also, like, anime wasn't a topic. And I did watch anime when I was in 5th grade, because Digimon was running on TV. But nobody talked about TV shows, because 5th grade. Like, nobody cared in our school for some reason. My school is apparently really weird for a German school.
See, I
don't
have
know.
something pretty similar to Nyard, where I get somewhat peer pressured out of anime. I mean, not anime as like an entity, but like, of course, all of us in primary school were all watching Naruto, right? Because it was airing on TV. But then it sort of like became like in 6th grade. It's like, oh, Naruto, that's cringe. Like we're in 6th grade now. We can't watch Naruto. Like we literally can't. Like it's and that was the big peer pressure thing. And then it's only when I got to high school or secondary school, as we call it here, that my brother kind of like he was three years ahead of me, and he was like, "Dude, Will, watch this." And then he showed me One Piece. I was like, and he was like, "Listen, don't listen to your friends, okay? You can just watch whatever you fuck you want." And I was like, "Yeah," and I did. And then I just made friends who also thought that.
Yeah. Sorry, that's something I was actually curious about. So, like, cause you know, like you quote unquote got into anime into 2016, but was there anything like actually good that you had seen before then? Because like, I mean, I don't know how it is in Germany, but like I said, I think it was last episode, like I didn't get into anime yet, but I mean, by the time I did, I had seen good stuff like Samurai Champloo and Cowboy Bebop, just because it was already airing on some of the later night channels. So, was there anything like that for you, or did you just not see anything good until 2016?
You know, apparently when I was 2, I watched Anne of Green Gables. So
Really?
that's where I start. Okay? German TV had all the World Masterpiece Theater shows and other shows that the German television stations co-produced,
That's
the
actually
official,
based.
the government stations. Like Little Viking Wiki, which I actually watched in like 2017,
Were
2018,
those
sometime
those
around
old
there.
ones with
Watched the entire
Toei?
show in German again. That was Mushi production. First Suzuyo and then Mushi
Oh, okay.
production, I think. So like early 70s. Like Maya the Honeybee and The Adventures of Alfred J. Quack. Like half of the Ghibli movies because they also ran on TV. I saw all those as a child. I saw One Piece, Naruto, and Pokemon and Digimon all on TV. It was like, yeah, this stuff exists.
Yeah.
Like after sixth grade, I just kind of stopped watching TV, so those just faded into a background. And the only thing I watched after that was because when I was 12, I think they showed the first two Ava movies on TV,
Ava
and I
movies.
knew that they were airing, and I saw like parts of them, but I never
That's
watched
act-
them actually. Like I didn't pay attention
that's
to
incredible.
anything.
The Ava movies on fucking TV. That's like inconceivable for, like in my childhood. I swear to God, the only thing we had was like Yu-Gi-Oh, Naruto, Spider Rider, and like Bakugan.
Yeah, I remember
It was
Bakugan.
on a channel that it didn't even air anime, by the way. It was the channel that aired the Ghibli movies and nothing else when it comes to
Right.
anime. It's the rebuild movies, of course, not End of Ava,
The- I
not
mean, I
End of
haven't
Ava,
seen the
not
rebuilds
Death
yet, but the
Rebirth.
idea of like seeing the rebuild, like especially as a kid, like seeing the rebuilds before actually watching the proper TV show, just sounds completely blasphemous.
See, I was also exposed
Yeah,
to Ava with the rebuilds first. Actually, I was like watching clips of like Ramiel and the first rebuild, like going crazy and screaming. I was like, this looks kind of cool. But then I saw that it was a mecha anime, and at the time I was a dumb shonen tard. I was like, mecha, big robots, that's gay. And
I mean, I was like, hey, these big robots are cool. Too bad I'm a retarded 12-year-old who doesn't understand anything about
yeah,
anything. And so I knew that they were being aired. I saw pieces of them, but I didn't engage. And then, like, in late 2013 or maybe 2014, I don't remember, I just went onto YouTube and typed in Neon Genesis Evangelion because I knew that was the title of the show. And wouldn't you know it, someone uploaded the entire show in Blu-ray quality with the
that's
German dub.
insane.
And I watched the entire thing, including Death and Rebirth, which is the only reason why it's on my mail. It's the only thing on my mail that I haven't watched since 2016, because I never got a download for it when I rewatched the show. And I watched End of Ava. It was fucking great, but then I didn't really dig into that, because like this show existed, I really bonded over a lot of the things in it, like Shinji, mostly Shinji being a loner, not being able to cope with his environment, all that stuff was
Yeah.
obviously great. Like a year before my father had died, so like I wasn't in a great
Well, that's news to me.
psychological condition. Yeah, my father died when I was 14, on the day after my 14th birthday. Best birthday ever, I can tell
Yeah,
you.
Yeah,
Dark
that's
Dark told me about that.
Ah,
Isn't it basically like your dad kind of died when you were youngish, and that's why you have like his business now, essentially?
something like that. I am the heir and I'm legally the owner. Not sure if I'm legally the you're called the administrator of it.
Right.
It's a bit complicated with the way the heir is distributed across my grandfather, my mother, and my brother and me.
right.
It's a big whole thing, and I haven't read all the testaments.
Well, that's
I can't tell you all the
I
details,
didn't know that. That's news
but
to me.
that's why I'm technically the richest member of Digicord.
I'm sure you are, unless there's a lurker who's like a millionaire or some shit. Um,
Yeah, Toom is obviously a billionaire because he never works apparently. He can
he
watch
just
anime all
watches
day.
all of anime. No, but see, this is somewhere we diverge a little bit, Dark, because like you just told me, oh, robots were always cool. That's something that's completely not the case for me. I was literally like against the idea of watching mecha anime for a long time. It's really weird,
See,
and then I somehow grew into it because of stupid shows like Code Geass and really good shows like Gurren Lagann, of course. Um,
yeah, I never really understood the
But
whole.
like,
I never really understood the whole like. I don't know. I guess normie like anti big robot things because like I literally never understood that. Like
well,
from
it's
day one,
because
I was like, oh, a big robot. That sounds cool. Like I had no
it's yeah,
preconceptions of it.
right. I mean, it makes sense in hindsight, right? But it's because big robots here in the West is associated with toys, with kids' toys, like the Transformers and shit. And I mean, Transformers are cool as fuck. But yeah, like at one point you get, as I said, you just get peer pressured out of it, right? And I mean, it's just unfortunate. It's just an unfortunate byproduct of society, I guess.
I guess maybe, but like I don't know that association never Because it's not just you, obviously. I mean, like it's a million normies. They're like,
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
yeah,
And it's weird also because like yeah, in a way, mecha anime are some of the most childish ones, like stuff like the Brave series. But also in anime, it's largely understood that if you want a serious war story with all the good stuff, it's going to be a mecha anime. So like, yeah,
yeah.
uh,
I was always in the boat of robots are just cool, like from a baseline. And I guess I did watch some random episodes of Beast Wars, Transformers
dude,
Beast
Beast
Wars,
Wars was my
like all
shit.
kinds of old Transformers shows that ran on some random TV
Yeah.
channels, maybe Tele5. Nyat will know what I'm talking
I-
about. Tele5 was super based.
I had my Transformers toys, which were fucking cool. I'm sure I still have some of them. I would have to dig them up, like in the fucking storage room. But
What I had instead was Lego Exoforce. You remember those?
Exoforce.
Yes, it's Lego Mecha. It's super based.
Oh, that sounds fucking based. I didn't have any of them though.
And they're all combiners. Like you can combine all kinds of sets.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Shoji Kawamori went and combined 4 of those sets into his own Lego Lego Mecha Transformer. Actually a transforming
Yeah.
thing. I think he even built a Valkyrie variant.
Based, fucking based.
Super amazing
It's pretty
stuff.
big.
2006, 2008 was the running time of that, I think. Like, yeah, robots are just cool. And Digimon obviously has robots, has big
Yeah.
robots, has dinosaur robots, has Gatling bunny robots.
Does it? I kind of missed the Digimon train as a kid. Like
I also missed it.
yeah, like yeah.
I had a friend who's really big into it, and he introduced me to it recently. I mean, we watched the movies, or some of the movies, and it was bug. I mean, Omnimon's a cool ass mecha design. Like that's fucking cool.
Yeah, all the Royal Knights are super great mecha
Yeah.
designs. Alphamon, Omegamon, Craniummon, Dukemon, Lord Knightmon, Dynasmon, all of them are super great designs.
So
Agreed.
The high tier Digimon are super well designed. Everyone goes on about how Pokemon is the much more realistic one with the much more refined designs. But Digimon can just go overboard. He can do anything. That's what makes it so cool.
Yeah. So I was
Like in Digimon Tamers, my favorite show, which we'll get back to, like one of the mega Digivolutions is literally a giant robot with a bear face, like with a comic bear face. Shoots massive breast bazookas and all the things.
But yeah, speaking of robots with animal faces, I was also big into Beast Wars. That was so fucking sick. I have the VHS still.
Yeah, I wish I remembered those things. I wish I
God, it's
I should
so
probably
cool.
watch all of those at some
I
point.
have some fucking scenes like embedded into my fucking brain. The fucking I think he's the mice guy, the mice Autobot. Like he gets captured by the Spider Girl, and then he's like in a cage and shit. But he has like some small missiles like stored inside his arm and shit. God, it's so fucking cool. But goddamn, is it ugly.
So
It
so
has
while
not
we're
held up.
I wish I could tell you anything about it, but I was 5 when I watched those random episodes. I don't remember shit about
Oh yeah, the only
I know I
reason
watched
the
this.
only reason why I remember all of this is because I watched it when I was 5 or like 5 to like 7, but I had the VHS, so I was just looping that shit.
so Dark. 2 things. One, did y'all have Zoids in Germany? Just wondering. No Zoids.
I never heard of Zoids before I got onto
Oh,
M
okay.
and randomly saw it in a
Yeah.
thread. I had no idea what Zoids was.
Probably not a huge loss.
I mean, America doesn't know what Zoids
Apparently
is.
there's a
bunch
new
of the shows
Zoids.
still unsubbed.
Apparently there's a new Zoids on Netflix.
Yeah, they always remake those shows. You know how it is.
Yeah, I barely knew what they were as a kid, mostly because of the GameCube game. But more importantly, so besides like Ava, what like in 2016 when you started getting into anime, what were some like shows that like really got you like into it, like as a main hobby?
Okay, first I'll just say that my brother was into anime way before I was, but I didn't care about anything that he ever watched. Like I passively watched dubs of Detective Conan, like hundreds of episodes of it. And that was a lot of my anime experience for a few years. It was back before I had a proper PC even. It's a long time ago. But like he did watch some good shows like Cowboy Bebop, so I knew that those shows existed. And then in 2016 I remembered, because I had completely forgotten about most anime stuff in my teenage years, because I was playing PlanetSide and Counter-Strike. Who can think of actual
The first
art?
one or the second
Like,
one?
PlanetSide
Oh,
2.
okay. Yeah. Yeah.
PlanetSide 1 is a bit too harsh for me, sorry.
Yeah.
Even PlanetSide 1 was really harsh. My PC ran it at 15 FPS.
Yeah, I tried to get into PlanetSide 2 for a bit,
Big
but
fans.
I never had any kind of PC that was anywhere near able to play
Yep.
it. So
Same. Counter-Strike,
So I
however.
remembered. Yeah, 1500 hours. LEM at some point, I think. Anyway, I remembered there was this show called Digimon Tamers. Maybe I should just watch that, because in 3 weeks it's summer vacation, there's nothing to do in school anymore. Let's just watch a show. And so I used the Debrid account of one of my friends. So I went to the German Börse, which is the big German file sharing website, where they just have uploaded links and stuff like that. I downloaded Digimon Tamers and all the other Digimon shows. Then I thought, what are other shows that I could watch? Because now I'm aware that this is Japanese stuff.
Right.
What is this Cowboy Bebop? Maybe I should get that Ava again.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I got all the Digimon shows. I watched Digimon Tamers in the weekend. It was a blast. Sadly, that version had all the openings and endings cut out, and I still hate that.
cringe. Yeah.
Fucking cringe.
That was the most scuffed experience in the world.
God, watching
Although
anime,
back
like
in those days.
getting into anime and like watching it when like you
You'll
don't know that there are like better ways to watch it, and like in retrospect, it's like, God damn it, I wasted like my experiences with those animes have been tainted forever just because I watched them in like 480p on a stupid fucking streaming website. And
I was pretty well off at that time because I downloaded everything. Most of the stuff I did download was
Dude,
Blu-rays.
I only started
Digimon obviously was DVDs.
I only started downloading my anime when I fucking got into Digicord, Dark. It took me a fucking while.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that's bad.
it's really bad. I've watched like
I'll get into streaming later. That's my thing.
listen,
And I guess I watched a bunch of the Digimon shows, and then I watched Ava again, and I watched Cowboy Bebop, and that's cool. Let's check out this YouTube thing.
yeah.
Who is this guy? Glass Reflection?
Oh no.
I watched his top 20 anime recommendations thing. I saw this show called Tengen Toppa Guren Lagann.
Base?
Hey, that's by the guys who made Ava, and it's big robots. Let's watch that.
Let's watch that.
Boom, best anime ever.
It still is your favorite, right?
Unbesiegt auf ewig, as the German memers would say. Unbeatable.
And it's still your favorite to this day, right?
Yes,
Based.
Yeah.
to this day. Nothing is dethroning that show anytime soon.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
just the best show, and it just becomes better.
yeah.
Like, I didn't even appreciate all the things that make it good back then. I didn't appreciate that it was basically Gallium
God,
in the beginning.
listen, fucking Gurren Lagann. Yeah, I mean, how could you? We just started this show, but yeah, Gurren Lagann is, I would say, the show that was like, okay, you know what? I just have to accept that mecha is cool. Like, Nyard in the last episode sort of talked about like, yeah, I can like cute girls, and it's like it was the same thing here with me with Gurren Lagann. For mechas, it's like I watched Code Geass and I justified it with, oh, but it's like Death Note, so like that's why I like it. It's just the guy is using his powers, and this is what I think is cool, and not the robots. And then I was like a big justification, while Gurren Lagann forced me to appreciate the big robot and the big drill.
Even though that show is so much more going outside of the robots.
Yeah, exactly.
While it even has way better robots than Code Geass.
I mean, yeah.
I watched this Fully Cooley thing back in the day. Yeah, what's that about? Fully Cooley. Ugh.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, but I didn't understand it, of course. Then I watched over that summer and the rest of that year a bunch of shows like Full Metal Alchemist 2003, which isn't good, don't at me. And Code Geass, which I liked because it was 2016.
No.
And like Full Metal Panic. Like, I guess in October of that year I had that idea, let's download this show that I heard about. Actually, I didn't even download it. I watched it on Kiss Anime, but it was an uncompressed Kiss Anime stream, which is amazing. You wouldn't believe it nowadays. But it was good quality, actually. It was Mobile Suit Gundam.
Based.
Based.
Watched that on Kiss Anime, yes.
I mean, so you did start with 79, right? Just
Yes.
was that intentional or just?
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, this is a big thing, let's get into it from the beginning.
Got it.
It's my experience with something like that. Like, I always wanted to watch something in like a proper order, so I don't accidentally watch something that I can't understand.
Yeah.
Just very basic
Yeah, it's
precaution, and that's where my philosophy of always going with release order comes from. It's
But-
just built on the experience.
Yeah. I mean that makes sense. But like Edubs, to answer your I mean the same question you asked Dark. Before I got into anime, no, I didn't. I had not watched any great things. I mean, I was only watching shonen, right? So I would say the only extremely fucking good show that absolutely holds up to this day that I watched before consciously being into anime and seeking out anime was Hunter x Hunter.
yeah.
And I mean, I had watched. I mean, oh, there's also Attack on Titan. No, Attack on Titan as well. And I mean, Death Note to a certain extent, but my appreciation of Death Note has greatly shifted over the years. I mean, I still love it, but just for different reasons, right?
Yeah. Well, and it's just funny because like, it's just funny that like, I mean, Dark and I are just like are the way that our tastes work nowadays. I mean, we obviously have the same favorite anime and some other stuff like that, but it is funny how much like the same shit that we watched like to basically kick off like the anime as a hobby. Because like
I mean,
like
it's weird because in my experience, it's like I was watching all those fucking stupid shonen. Well, yeah, stupid shonens. And at one point, I was like, I kept watching like YouTube videos of like top 10 anime something, top 10 anime something, and like Watch Mojo, and I was watching also myself like YouTubers like Glass Reflection or more obscure Bob Samurai or like oh god what's his name, the black anime guy or something like that. Anyway,
That sounds like a realistic anime channel. That's definitely one that exists.
yeah
I very quickly got onto the train of, hey, there's this Digibro dude who made a video about anime. What is anime?
yeah
Well, we all know what anime is. Japanese colloquialism, of course.
Listen.
What's the appeal of anime? And like, Gurren Lagann is actually really good, just like Kill la Kill is, which I also watched in that summer.
funny
Also,
fucking
one of my
story.
favorite shows.
Funny fucking story, okay? I watched my first Digibro video. It was like his top 20 anime or something, and he had K-On! As his favorite. And at the time, I was a shonen tard, and I was like, this is stupid. And then I just like clicked off. Then a month later, I watched K-On! And it became my favorite anime immediately. And then and then I was like, I was just searching for people who like thought like me. Like, no, I can't be the only one who thinks that K-On! Is the best anime ever, because obviously at the time no one was saying that. But then I remembered, who was that guy? Who was that guy? That video that I clicked off because of his number one was K-On! And then I remember, oh, it's Digibro. And then from then on, 2014, it was Digibro all the way to 2019.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with me, I think there's a thing where my close-mindedness for a lot of things is actually turned into open-mindedness because I didn't go in with all the baggage of the popular discussion. Like, I just watched Nichijou at some point. I had no idea about the anime culture at large. So I wasn't at all opposed when Digi said, yeah, my favorite anime is K-On! So in the same month that I watched Gundam, and Gunbuster, by the way, based, I also watched K-On! And immediately became one of my favorite shows. Looks like
Yep.
this all just happened.
Yeah.
Didn't have the judgment.
I-
I think that's very important to not have that judgment when you're forming your anime taste.
Yeah. I was consuming consuming is the right word. I was consuming a lot of stupid AniTube, but like not quality AniTube. Like as I said, all those channels, and that
Yeah, I
really
just watched
colored
After
my
Dark.
yeah, that really colored my thoughts going into certain animes. Like for sure, I'm not gonna deny that. I mean,
Yeah,
but I did quickly develop my own taste.
I, I gotta say, fucking, I'm really grateful that I got set down the right path in a lot of different ways. Cause like, I mean, like I said, like Adult Swim, like I basically had the best possible experience with Fooly Cooly, where like I watched it when I was like fucking like 7 or 8, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on, and then I watched it when I was like 10, and I just like progressively would like see it every now and then over like the course of like my childhood, and then I like came back and gave it a few more proper revisits when I was older, and it's like, damn, when you just have like all those mental threads just to tie in, it's just like it's really insane how good that is. And then uh yeah, like with Digibro, I basically had the perfect timing with Digibro because like my first exposure to Digibro was a bunch of friends telling me to watch Sword Art Online, and they all love Sword Art Online, and then I watched Sword Art
and
Online, and
you
I
hated
was
it.
like, this is fucking trash. And then I'm on YouTube and I see this Digibro guy, and he has like an hour and a half video, and he's like, here's why SAO is fucking trash. And then I watched it and I'm like, wait a minute, bass, yes, thank God, someone's fucking speaking reason outside of
So
my
that's
IRL
funny.
bubble.
That's funny. We have like the same experience but opposite. Where I was looking for a guy who thought K-On! Was the best anime, like me, and you were looking for a guy who thought Sword Art Online was the worst anime,
Yeah,
like you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also watched watched Gunbuster because of Demolition D. Demolition D had a lot of good early content. Good recommendations
Yeah,
early
I
on.
only watched that video after I'd watched Gunbuster multiple times. After I watched it, I just watched Gunbuster again.
Yeah, yeah, he really sells it real good. Um,
All right.
Interesting thing about that early time for me is, like, even when I was watching anime streams, and I maintain that in 2016, 2017, there were good anime streams on the internet.
Oh yeah, there were. There was
It's not
actually a
anymore.
website. There was a website that was
There's
incredible.
there was masterani.me. That
There
was
was
the
there
best
was
one.
there was HTV anime. It was the same hosts who today host uh H anime, the hentai site.
Oh,
And
that sounds good.
at the time they had like I discovered the site because of I was on H anime, and they had this link to HTV anime. They were like, listen, we're starting this anime streaming things, and they had everything in like 1080p. It was incredible. It was absolutely incredible. I watched like at least 100 anime on that site, and but then it got shut down, and then I was back to well, I was starving for because I was now used to the quality of 720 or 1080p for my anime because of that site. And so after that site, I just stole my friend's Crunchyroll account because I couldn't handle the 480p anymore.
yeah, the law has like really demolished like free anime streaming. Like back in the day, there used to be so many good sites,
The
and
thing is, for me, like, I already had a sense of what anime should look like because obviously the first things I saw, Ava Blu-ray, Bebop Blu-ray, Gurren Lagann Blu-ray. I think my Gurren Lagann Blu-ray still looks better than anything that's on Ya. It's an amazing release. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I have.
And
I
so
mean,
when I had a
my,
stream,
yeah, that's it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird actually because that's true. Like my K-On! Blu-rays are just absolutely incredible.
yeah,
And
because they are not compressed, you can even see that tiny bit of compression, I think, because they compress the colors or something.
yeah,
Something like
um,
that.
the most I've ever been tempted to steal something was at my very first job because it was Amazon, and it was during the, I want to say, I forgot if it was 2015 to 2016, like Christmas rush, or 2016 to 2017. It must have been 2015 to 2016, but I had to do gift wrapping because they had like a thing where you could buy like a gift wrapping service, and this guy had bought his friend like the kind of famous like $500 like collector box for Gurren Lagann with the Blu-rays and all the extra shit and like all that other stuff, and he had gotten he had gotten something similar for, I think it was like Samurai Champloo, and then there was like one other. So I was gift wrapping this, and I was like, oh my god, I just want to fucking take these and run out. Like, I don't care what happens. Like, I just need these. I didn't, of course, but I was so tempted.
Or so you say.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
So,
thing is,
what-
when I saw Compression A, it was immediately annoyed. When I saw stuff like BOP is just a separate file because they upload all the chapter torrents to the website. They did
Yeah.
that a lot for some reason. They would immediately try to find an actual download on the browser, or I'd ask my friend to get me a torrent because I knew what nya was. nya.sa at the time, not se.
yeah.
And so like the version of Zeta Gundam I watched was a torrent, technically. And like
Right.
was really interesting to see how even back then, back then there was so much stupid shit. That also was like Ichigo Mashimaru OVA. The only version that wasn't 360p was one where the audio track that they had selected was the voice actor commentary. I don't know why.
Incredible.
That's how I got into actually torrenting, because I had to keep hitting up my friend to get me the torrents because he had a big thing, his Debrid thing that he had could just download torrents like that.
You know how I got into torrenting, Dark? You might remember this.
Yeah, I told
I
him.
I was watching G Gundam on fucking Crunchyroll, and then I started
Oh,
complaining. I started complaining. I was like, "How the fuck does Crunchyroll, a multi-million-dollar company, not have this show in fucking 1080p? It's goddamn 480p, and the black bars on the side, because the
know-
show is in 4:3, of course, are they're like pixelated, and you can see the fucking pixels come into the fucking image of the show on Crunchyroll. I couldn't believe it. I was like fucking shook at this. And then you were just like, listen, just torrent the show. And I was like, but how does that work? And then I just asked my friend real quick, and there was no going back. Of course, torrenting is the best thing there is.
Yeah,
You
I could
know,
never.
One of
I
the
could
last
never-
shows. One of the last shows I watched a part of, not torrented, on masterani.ma because they had super high quality, super high bitrate 1080p streams that completely lagged out my connection, which is why I watched the show so slowly in the beginning. It was G Gundam. G Gundam was one of the shows that made me switch, even though I
Yeah.
only downloaded it months later for some reason. Like
Yeah.
Glad we share that.
I'm very glad I got into torrenting before joining Digicord, by the way, because I would have been demolished for it as well.
By the way, I mean, I sort of got demolished. Just saying, when we group watched Venus Wars, I was on a fucking stream inside.
I assumed so. I also watched
And,
it on the streaming site for the first time. That's why I didn't care about how it looked, because I probably couldn't see how it looked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I can't ever be too mad at Dark, because you like
You never
too big
watch
a-
any show with cropping again, okay?
Two.
No.
Well, okay. Then I guess I should say three things because I forgot about that. Yeah, don't crop shit. Don't
Especially Eureka 7. Especially
Don't-
Eureka 7.
don't stream shit. Of course you would remember that. Jesus Christ, fucking exposing my balls live. But so the cropping, torrenting, and release order, which is pretty base most of the time. That last
Dark remembers everything, Edubs. That's why he's here.
Yeah, that's
Um,
why I can correct people on the stuff they said.
His young virile brain. I can't keep up with my old brain that's filled with dust and
Hey,
cobweb.
you turned what? 25 2 days ago?
No, 24.
24. Hype
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that Yard proposed for this podcast, I mean, he didn't say we should do this now, but he said at one point you should, like, have it be on the fucking voice chat and people can just join and be muted so that they can just, like, propose things and say things and we can, like, talk about it. But I just wanted to say that now because I got tagged here by Copilot Coco in our Record. he's listening to the Tanjiro episode currently, and he says, listening to Digicord radio while I build my Unit 00. He's building a gunpla from his picture. Did people really not like Don Jolly? Question mark. I don't remember him being a weird righty influence on Digi or whatever.
I mean, he
So, got
wasn't.
anything to sound that? Yeah, he knows.
I barely remember
I don't
him,
think
but
he
he
was, yeah.
definitely wasn't super weird. He was really interesting because of his
Yeah.
theology background, but also I
I-
didn't hear a lot of it.
So this is all completely flown over my head. Is Don Jolly like a weird right?
I don't think he is.
I don't think so.
He sort of comes off as a conspiracy theorist just because he's so like kind of like out there and in forward thinking, but he most of the time he is just being accurate and truthful, right?
Yeah,
He's just,
like the two
based
things that I
generally.
always remember with the well, I guess two main things that I always remember with Don Jolly is that, like, one, all of his content that he made, including the Crypto Miku podcast with Digi, and including the he did like a 40 it might have been like 40 or 50-minute videos on like George Lucas and Star Wars, which was like super fucking good. And he also, like, Don Jolly is the first time I heard about the coronavirus, because it was in 2019 and I had heard about it way before I heard about it from anybody else in like my real life or like anywhere on the internet. Like, Don Jolly like made a video super early about like, oh, there's this crazy fucking shit happening in Wuhan, nobody knows what's going on with it, but like, yeah, here's the deal. I was like, oh shit, Don Jolly is like a fucking, like, he's like a real ass investigative journalist. And then like sure enough I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, like, I guess he was really on the ball with that one. Like, goddamn.
I actually heard about
Alright,
that
so-
on the image boards through the Great Grapevine. And I thought, yeah, this thing
Yeah.
exists. I don't think it will be too big a deal if it is handled in any way competently. But then again, it
Yeah.
was in China.
Yeah.
win.
So
No.
that answers your question, Coco. If you're listening to this, no, I don't think Don Jolly was a particularly big political influence.
Yeah,
on
he
Digi
was
or
just
anything like that.
intentionally obscure and obtuse. I think that's something
Yeah.
that describes him
I mean,
pretty well.
Digi has gone out of her way to influence herself plenty enough, so I don't think it's.
But I don't think the people who are currently just, I mean, who the fuck are these people, right? I don't think these people are related to Don
Yeah,
Jolly or anything
I
like
don't
that, yeah.
know who those people are. I have no interest in
Yeah.
knowing who those people are. Anyway, Digi.
Nobody does.
Throughout 2017, I was watching Digi, and I was watching shows that Digi recommended, like Gochumon wa Usagi desu ka? And
Based.
Technolize, to get the full.
I still need to watch that.
I can assume that's based.
That is very based. It's also suffering, but it's based.
Yeah.
Like, all kinds of stuff. Lucky Star, Hidamari Sketch. I all watched those in 2017, by the way, on streaming sites. Actually, I got a
Good
got
year.
a torrent for Lucky Star. Was the same torrent that I still have that I recommended to everyone.
Moe? Was it Moe
Yeah,
called?
Moe.
It's called Moe, right? Yeah. That's the one me and Idos
Yeah,
got.
because I didn't find a good stream, so I just hit my friend up and told him, get me that. He also gave me Rasephon. Like, he was a bit upset with me constantly asking him for shows. With Rasephon, he only gave me that because the encode was so insane. It was like a 30, 40 gigabyte torrent for that show. Was the only reason that he gave me the thing. Which is weird reasoning, but I understand. Yeah, it's so weird I have to give you this. Too bad the show isn't good. Rasephon sucks. Suck my dick.
Just a weird Ava ripoff, right?
At the best of times, yes. I should probably rewatch
see.
it because Izubuchi, but I don't care. I don't care. You all don't know the Big O opening, so whatever.
I remember Big O. That was another one that was like on late night in America. Although that
Big
one,
O on TV.
Yeah!
I'm so fucking
I'm
jealous
telling-
of the fucking USA
I'm te-
television programs. I
It's-
swear to fucking
it's
God.
not even- it's
Here
not
in
even our
Quebec,
pr-
we're fucking stuck with garbage ass Quebecois cartoons
Well,
and
you
French
got Precure.
cartoon.
You got Precure in Canada. Let's be fair.
yeah, it's not even like America
You did
in
get
general.
Precure.
It's literally just Adult Swim. Like, dude, I swear to God, fucking I always imagine like early 2000s, right? There's just like there must have been some crazy ass otaku motherfucker that like came across like, he's getting his fucking import like fucking VHSs or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, Bobo 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 Bo, dude, I'm gonna go pitch this at work. We could totally make this like a fucking kid show on like regular TV. Just dub it." And they totally did it. Like I always imagine that there must be some like crazy otaku motherfucker that worked there
Yeah,
that
they were
like
just really willing to take risks, and it paid off
yeah,
for them
like
in a huge way.
yeah, and I mean, man, the fucking catalog, like they had Foolie Cooley, Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo. They eventually got like all the other classics that like Gurren Lagann and Kill la Kill later. That was after my time, but yeah, I think even to this day they still manage to have like a pretty fucking sick catalog in general. Like they're obviously gonna have Sean there. Like that's how I got into Bleach, and they had some stuff that was obviously a little bit less, but I mean it's still stuff that's at least in the zeitgeist. So.
Really, but
Yeah, I
anything
guess.
that wasn't mainstream shonen, and that's a big achievement. Because that we
Yeah,
didn't get that in Germany. Although apparently there was a pay TV channel that aired Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed and Gundam 00 in Germany. None of the others, by the way. Only those three.
yeah, but yeah, I saw a little bit of Big O late night as a kid as well. So
Hype. I can't wait to watch Big O. So keep going, Doc.
Yeah,
I
where
guess
was I?
keep going.
Yeah, 2017 I watched all kinds of based shows, also including most of the UC. I started the year off with Zeta Gundam, then I watched Double Zeta, and then I watched Just Counter Attack, and then 0080. And then I watched
So you got into Gundam in.
F91 and 0083, and then Victory Gundam. And then I didn't watch any
So
Gundam
you
after that, because I watched Rasefon.
so you got into Gundam. I mean that's a subject and conversation we can definitely go deep into. But you got into Gundam in 2017,
In
right?
2016 I watched 0079, and
Right.
like late December I started Zeta Gundam. And then I was on a
Got it.
Gundam train until like September, I
We
think.
have such.
And I also watched Nadeshiko at the same time. And then I went into other shows, like watched Yamato, the original, in DVD quality back then. And I watched Cross in early 2018. And then I got into G Gundam, and then I got into torrenting.
See, it's so real how you have like a completely different experience when it comes to Gundam. I think mine is more in line with what most people will experience. As in, well, I got into Gundam in 2015 when Iron Blooded Orphans started airing, and I was watching all those like anime opening compilations, like best opening of the seasons. There was like raise your flag. I was like, dude, this is fucking awesome. Let's go. And then I just watched it. Previously I was like, I mean, I don't want to get into Gundam because it's massive, and I'm just never gonna see the end of it. I mean, to this day, I haven't seen the end of it, but
Well, you will never see the end of it.
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, true. I mean, Iron Blood Orphans came out, and it seemed really hype. It seemed different. Then I just really wanted to make sure, so I confirmed with some people on the internet. Just like, can I watch this show? Can I watch this show? Yes, it's an alternate universe. Hype shit. Let's get into this. And then,
Of course, that was the wrong
uh,
decision, and you shouldn't have watched it. Should have watched 0079.
I mean, I'm glad I watched it, because if I didn't watch it, I would not have watched Double
Yeah, I
79.
would have had to bully you
right?
into watching 0079.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, when I joined Digicord, I had watched a lot of Gundam.
Yeah, sadly,
Um,
almost none of the good ones. Although I guess you had
True.
watched Zeta and 0079 back then, and a few of the OVAs.
Correct. I had watched, yeah, and I had watched, some OVAs and
And
Unicorn.
half of not 00, Turn A.
Half of Turn A. I realized when me and Yard rewatched Turn A, that it wasn't half actually. It was like more like 15 episodes, because I remembered everything all the way to
You know,
the Will game.
TBS
things, but
should
then
pick up Turn A Gundam, so we can have Turner Gundam. So anyway, like all I knew about
So-
IBO, I knew from occasionally looking at M, and M constantly shit on that show because of Slide. Fucking Slide.
IBO's IBO is very good looking.
Well, they hated it, but it's
You know,
M. M hates everything.
yeah.
M hates everything.
I mean,
The good shit, the bad shit, they hate everything. Especially Infinite
Uh,
Revives, though, and Valbrave the Liberator.
so that's a good little side thing we can get into. When did you like start getting into or not M, and then like when did you fall out with M and like
I was
why?
never super into M. Every couple of weeks I would just go onto M for no reason. I just checked out all the threads. I didn't know most of the stuff, but
I
it
was
looked cool. It was my
see how I got
experience back then.
into 4chan was when I got into Fire Emblem in 2017 by proxy of my huge Fire Emblem fan friend. Um, I just hung out a lot on DG, just on Fire Emblem threads, and then I just started just hanging out on other boards like A, C, and M because I was big into Gundam,
Not on
obviously.
D,
But
normal fact detected.
but then I went on M, and of course, 2017, Symphogear at that point is already my favorite anime, and I realized there's a fucking Symphogear General
Yeah,
on
I saw
M.
that one, but I
And I
didn't
was
really care. Just, yeah, this is one of the 100,000 shows I have never heard of that I'm not going to watch anytime soon. I guess it's a thing.
yeah. And so I was like, Jesus Christ, this is Symphogear General. That's so fucking based. And I just hung out on Symphogear General for a while also just looking at other threads on M and laughing at people being stupid and stupid gifs.
I mean,
and
they were
memes.
always retarded. They always hated Gohan Lagann and Ava.
Yeah.
They did like
Yep.
Gunbuster though, which is based. But like, I think the fundamental building blocks of M are shows like Gunbuster. So it makes sense.
Fucking one of the funniest thing about M is them shitting on Katoki. It's so fucking funny because
I never saw that actually.
especially like
I
on
only saw stuff like Zeta Rager, who would make 30 threads in one day about how Zeta Gundam sucks.
Listen, if you go on any unicorn thread, it's all Katoki hating because they can't just fucking their brain can't handle the fact that Katoki just upgraded all of the fucking old designs and modernized them in a way that makes sense and makes them cool in the digital era, right?
I'm
And like
inclined to disagree,
they
but
just
okay.
they just shit on all of the Katoki redesigns. And there's like this big war of like Katoki's base, Katoki's fucking cringe, and it's really funny to see those stupid guys
He's no
go at it.
Okawara, I can tell you that.
Katoki is no Okawara. I mean, nobody is Okawara.
Well, Okawara
Katoki
is
is still
Okawara.
good. Right.
And Mamoru Nagano is pretty close, but he just hasn't done a lot of anime.
True.
There's a few others like Ohata, but Ohata, he did design Gunbuster and he did make MD Geist. It's like he's the most based person in the universe already. But beyond
Alright,
that,
well.
he directed Genocyber. Fucking Genocyber.
So by the end of 2017, we're getting close to how you joined Digicord, right?
Yeah, I think either early 2018 or late 2017 I started hanging out on r/digibro. Because like
Right.
I didn't have any place to talk about stuff, and I was sure as hell not spending money on a Patreon server I had barely heard about. Like, I'm not going to
Right.
spend money anyway. Who would ever spend money on anything, really? Especially if you have money. I'm way too... What's the word even?
You're a fucking Jew.
I can report to you that nobody in my ancestry is Jewish. Otherwise, my parents probably wouldn't have been born.
I know, I'm just kidding.
And well, r/digibro was an interesting place where you could have some interesting discussions, but you also had like brain dead haters on Digi and the anime that Digi was discussing. And so like, I argued there about stuff. Like basic text comprehension. Stuff like that.
I remember my time on that subreddit as well. I mean, my time on
We
the
probably
subreddit.
talked to each other at some point, but we never knew.
You know, I mean, you probably posted on like one of my posts or like posted in the same thread at least. Probably not to each other, because my only post on that subreddit was when the girlish number video was taken down. I just made a post about it, like, oh, the girlish number video got taken
I
down.
probably
And
saw
people
that.
just got
but,
mad about it.
Like, I would
Yeah.
check the subreddit to see all my messages there, but or Digi
Yeah.
killed it.
I-
Thanks, Digi.
And then
Ah,
the only other thing I had done on that subreddit was post on the big thread that Digi made to like answer people's questions. I'm sure you remember that video. And I think I asked about Gintama, and Digi was like, "Oh, it's one of my favorite anime, but I've only seen 150 episodes, and I don't finish it because I'm stupid. Even though it's like the best thing I've ever seen, I'm just never gonna finish it. Never, ever."
I'm actually not sure if I saw that one. I don't remember. Like, I argued a lot with people like Suloliform, a bit with what's his name, the Christian gay anime guy who loves Lucky Star. Mifrandia Olorin something. That guy. You remember him?
No.
Well, he's a weird guy. He's in all the YouTube comments, and he was in the subreddit.
See, back then I was not in the fucking community at all. I was just like secluded. I was just big into Digi.
Yeah,
I mean,
kind of same.
Did some,
but like I still interacted with the subreddit. Like at some point the subreddit was just retards. Like Gruntergen is one I remember, just shitting on Digi for no reason. And like I was there during 2018 August. Was even there when Digi's Crunchyroll video was removed multiple times. That was an interesting time. But like during that month I decided maybe I should join that. Discord because like the entire summer I had nothing to do because in 2018 I had graduated from school, of course, and my uni wasn't going to start until October. So I decided to join. Was immediately way better. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah. Before you get into that, I just want to answer Coco real quick because he says I want to be in one when I catch up. I got 2016 lore and 2018 rage. Coco, you are welcomed. We will gladly have you on. So you joined Digicord. Then what?
Get in the back of the line, Coco. No, I'm just messing. Love you.
The first thing I ever talked about on Digicord was Makia, a movie I later watched and absolutely hated, which I love. I said that the translator for the Gochumon wa Usagi desu ka movie loved that movie. Was my first message. Thinking back on that, yeah. No. That guy probably had shit taste. There were a few things back then.
Nice, sweet.
Like I was very
Great.
cautious with my arguments at the beginning.
I'm glad that both of us start by shitting on something.
Well, I didn't shit on it. That's the thing. I watched the movie on Digicord and I shit on it on Digicord.
I see.
I
was not reserved at all when I joined.
My first dunk.
I was just being
my
stupid.
first dunk on any show was when I said Shinse Kayori is actually a 10 in binary. That was the first time I ever shit on an anime on the server.
It's a creative way to do it.
Of course I hadn't watched Shinse Kayori, because in the beginning I only shit on shows that I didn't know anything about. It was just something I did back then because like I don't know anything, it can't offend anyone if I say something that's completely besides the point. And then I rather quickly stopped because I didn't see any point anymore and I had found shows to shit on in earnest.
Yep.
Anyway, a few things.
It's kind of hard to shit on something if you haven't seen it.
A few things to correct. Excuse me.
Dark.
Yes. A few things to correct. Like I joined 1.5 months after Nyad joined, to put that timeline into context. And yeah, Nyad and Kaisemir were watching shows together at that time. But they didn't have the start, like the ready go thing, because we implemented that after I complained about it, actually. It's like they were watching shows, were watching the shows like 15 minutes apart. Like,
that makes all the fucking sense in the world. It's fucking, I just can imagine.
I mean, that just seems obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny to just imagine Yard and Trisamir. It's like being chaotic in the fucking chat. Like,
yeah, they were just
fucking chaotic.
They were just
evil.
posting their opinions at each other because Kaisemir knew the show and was just rewatching it loosely along the side. Like Nihat was posting his
Yeah.
opinions and was bouncing off Kaisemir, what he was saying. It was just a very loose kind of group watch.
Right. And you just come in and just
Not
establish
immediately,
order.
actually.
Okay.
Was like we watched, like the first thing I watched with Nihat was actually Hades Project Zeoraimer, which is a rad as fuck 80s robot OVA, which is adapted from a hentai manga, and which has some really interesting parallels to Ava, actually. If we watch that together, we'll talk about that, Will. Like
We
the
might.
character of the main character has some very interesting things about him. Nyat will probably remember, even though there's not too much to remember. And we watched that. Like we didn't talk too much during the episodes. Kaisemir was just completely out. He didn't even watch half the show. Was immediately gone. He never finished a show that he hadn't watched before in a group watch. Okay, you have to understand this about him. Like we watched Zeoraimer and we came to the conclusion that it's a weird mecha OVA that looks cool, but the plot is completely stupid. Because it was, even though it had these interesting things about it. Kaisemir just hadn't watched it. And then we watched Kokoro Connect. And that's when we got into a thing where Minyat was actually trying to engage with the show. Kaisemir was just saying, these girls aren't cute, yawn, the show is shit. Reminder, the original character designer for Kokoro Connect is Yukiko Horiguchi.
The Keon guy, if you guys don't know, that's the Keon guy.
I wouldn't say it's a guy because Yukiko Horiguchi is a girl. But yes, the Lucky
Okay.
Star and Keon girl.
The Keon lady.
And the
There
one
we
who
go.
did the character designs for Hello World recently, the movie by the Sword Art Online director that I haven't watched. That Digi apparently hated. I don't know.
I don't know. I've
Yeah, who cares?
heard about it.
Everything I
She
watched.
also,
I was
also
gonna
did
say I
the,
watched that video.
Sora Woto designs.
And yeah, basically it looked pretty trash. So, yeah.
And I'm actually not sure when we started the Ready Go. It was either during Kokoro Connect, later in Kokoro Connect, or when we watched Hibike. I think we already had the Ready Go thing when Hibike was on, because with Hibike it also made a lot of sense to talk about it episode by episode.
Right. Of course, yeah.
Like, Nyat actually liked Kokoro Connect, I should add that. He didn't like it as much as me, but I also said nobody will like this show as much as I do, because it's a very, very personal
Right.
thing how I relate to that show.
Right.
It was one of the first shows that actually confronted, what would you call it, teenage psychology and feelings, and in a way that isn't completely trashy like most anime does it.
Right.
You should watch
I've
that
always
show.
I've always been interested in it, especially
Also-
since I've watched Kisniver and it's been compared with it, and I was like, all right, well.
And its supernatural,
interesting.
its supernatural elements really make a lot of sense for the thing the show is going for. Like the body switching, the one phenomenon where like a strong emotion they feel gets put into overdrive. That's one of the symptoms. One is where just a random thought of one of the people, others can hear in their head just randomly. Like when the main character is cuddled by his little sister, he says, "I'm so glad to have a little sister." And, like 3 other people hear it, and
Well, that's embarrassing.
it has that anime humor. Like the person whose thought is transmitted always knows who it is transmitted to, but the others don't know who it is transmitted to.
Got it.
That's has a lot of interesting setups like that, which really really help them open up as humans, I guess.
Right.
And talk to each other. Nyat described it as the show that forces Japanese people to talk to each other, which is very good. It's a very good description of what it does.
Yeah, because Japanese are known to be extremely vague about everything.
Yeah, they don't talk to each other.
They
Japanese
just
people don't
imply
talk.
stuff. They just imply everything.
Yeah, that's also something you see in shows like Mesoi Koku. Like in episode
Right.
80 something, they actually talk their feelings out. It's a 96 episode romance show. Slice of life romance show. Like,
Yep.
it's good because there is still characterization and they learn from each other, but it's never through direct communication.
Right.
It's one of the
But
fascinating things about that show as well. And
so
well,
when you joined Digicord, did you like immediately got known as a like a first of all, of course, a mecha guy, but also just like this stoic, dry humor kind of guy who just like shut downs everyone all the time and stupid puns and shit, or just did that come with time? I guess.
the thing is, like, I was immediately known as an anime old fag guy because I was telling, like, one of my earliest posts is like a broken green text which says, "Watching shitty TV anime instead of amazing 80s OVAs."
Right.
Stuff like that. They really pushed the shows that I liked, the 80s stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that
I
thing
never
was
had.
already well known, and like the way I got into that anime night, which is after they had finished Elfenlied, is when when I just said Kaisumi doesn't want to organize anything because he was annoyed that people were talking over the show at one of their nights. So I'll just organize one, and I picked
Good.
MD Geist, MD Geist
Hype.
2. And then I randomly threw in Psychic Wars after everyone was super hyped in that night. It was super hype group watch. So they told me, yeah, let's watch
I mean,
something else, and I just thought of the worst OVA that I could possibly think of, which is Psychic Wars.
Of course.
I understood
Fucking
Psychic Wars more before that rewatch than after that rewatch.
Edubs, have you seen MD Geist?
No, I actually haven't seen him, the Geist.
Watch
Well, that's
MD
something you need
Geist.
to get on.
Definitely watch MD Geist and watch it in the original. The original with Norio Akamoto.
So I've only heard the voices, or not the voices. I've only heard the name. What is MD Guys actually about?
It's Norio Wakamoto being in a wasteland and killing shit.
It's like a post-apocalyptic cyberpunk future where Norio Wakamoto plays a cyborg super soldier who just kills shit.
Wait, that's
Most
the guy.
dangerous.
That's the guy who's the cat in Lucky Star, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
that sounds.
No, that's no. No.
In Azumanga
You
Daioh.
confused everything. The cat in Azumanga Daioh.
It's not a...
There's no cat in Lucky Star. There's a
Choi
cat in
Dewanai.
Nichijou, and
Yeah.
that's.
Oh wait,
Shiraishi-
Nichijou.
Yeah, that's
No.
Shiraishi Minoru.
Yeah, Shiraishi Minoru is in
Oh.
Nichijou. He's completely different. Norio Wakamoto is the super deep voice. He's also in Gintama,
No-
right?
Yes.
Who's he doing in Gintama?
He's the Shinsengumi big boss.
Oh,
The old guy, and also Lelouch's father in Code Geass.
Oh
Yes.
my fucking god!
MD
Jesus
Geist.
Christ.
Geist is a guy who doesn't give a shit, who unleashes a giant army of killer robots to kill all of them. That's how the first OVA ends. He unleashes the Death Force, which is why the second OVA is called Death Force. Sadly, it's not nearly as good. Like, it's still... Like, it's super cool cyberpunk, super cool post-apocalyptic stuff, and all the robots are super cool because Koichi Ohata, like I said, he designed the Gunbuster.
Right.
Such a base fucking design. Jesus Christ.
And then I guess we watched Air Guides, half of Air Guides on Bad Anime Night. To this day, the only show we never finished on Bad Anime Night because it was too boring. God, fucking Air Guides.
Ban a show for the unaware where we literally watched an episode where a girl just slept for the whole entire episode. 'Cause
Yes.
It's called Sleeping with Hanako.
Sleeping
and
with
She
Hinako.
literally just slept. Hinako, yeah, and she just slept the whole time. So it was more boring than that, apparently.
I mean, that was advanced. That was advanced, amazing. Everyone needs to see Sleeping with Hinako. It's fascinating. Completely
I missed that
unlike
one.
Air Guides. Air Guides is like the shittiest looking, worst Gundam ripoff you could think of. So it's kind of like a Gundam Wing ripoff, I guess. It's also so uninspired that you can't tell. It's just super insipid and stupid and ugly. Has a bunch of cool animation actually in the end, which confused everyone in the version we watched, which was Orphan's LD release. They put the extras at the end of the every second episode of the Laserdisc release. And it was like the best scenes, which was the fight scenes from later in the show that we never got to watch. They had like Ko Yoshinari animating on that. It was actually cool stuff, but nobody gave a fuck. Especially I didn't give a fuck when I watched it. Because it doesn't matter. It all doesn't matter in that show, because the mecha designs aren't even good. Some of the worst mecha I've ever seen.
Yeah, so Ban as we know it today, of course, is largely organized by you, and that's when it
Yeah,
started.
it was
basically.
originally...
Because Chaisamir was just being a fucking lazy cunt, and you.
I mean, Kaisemir was upset, and then it became a committee thing, where we decided by committee. Oh yeah, Digibro forums. Remember those? I actually have them open right now. Like, Digi wanted to organize group watches there. The only group watches that were ever done were Isekai Smartphone, Gate, and Elfenlied. AKA the first 3 bad anime nights. Nothing else happened out of that. Cool forum, by the way. Cool, way back in time. After that was by committee, and I basically had a lot of things that I could bring, because I had watched a lot of OVAs, and I knew that there were a lot of bad OVAs and bad things. Like, it only really started in 2019, like, being a regular thing, when I brought in Hermes, Wings of Love, the Happy Science film.
Yeah. That's the one I've seen.
And then, except for a few problems, like we had a few problems with getting attendance in 2019, after the Exodus, and after that it was just every week, consistent.
Can we just appreciate how Hype Science cult does not fucking care, and they literally have their movie just end with, listen, Jesus is cool. At the end. you gotta appreciate it. It's so like fucking God. This movie is so bad.
We have to appreciate.
It's a fucking Greek.
We have to appreciate
mythology
that for some
movie?
reason or another, Takehito Koyasu is in every single one of them. Like, he's always Alcantara.
Interesting.
Like, he's their god, literally. I'm not sure if he's actually part of the cult, or if he just gets a lot of money. But it's always Takehito Koyasu, which is so...
one of those two.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of Takehito Koyasu, so it fits into my image of him. Like, yeah, controversial opinion. I don't like Takehito Koyasu. Maybe because the first roles I heard from him were stuff like Zex Marquis and fucking... what's his name? Mula Flaga.
Mula Flaga, the legend.
Neo Roanoke.
Most people are introduced. Most people are introduced to fucking Koyasu through, of course, Dio Brando, which is an extremely based role.
Yeah, sometimes you're Dio, sometimes you're Zex. Sometimes you're just annoying, which is very often the case for Koyasu, sadly.
I don't think that's the case.
I should probably go into the culture of the server at that time.
Famous opinion terrorist in certain ways, Dark, and his hate of that voice actor in particular.
I'm a opinion terrorist in very specific ways, I know.
Very, very specific ways.
Like,
very specific.
You know, I think the...
And kill Shinkai. You never saw the Nausicast where I said that we should kill Shinkai, right?
I saw it. But, yeah, I think you're not only an opinion terrorist, but also just a... You just ignore the trends.
Yes.
It's like,
who cares about trends?
Don't fucking care. Exactly. It's just Monogatari. Yeah, no, I'm not watching
why
that.
would you know better what I want to watch
than
I do?
Yeah. True.
Also,
but
one thing, like, whether you have fun with me depends on if you agree with me or not. Like, me shitting on people and saying they are stupid for not liking show, you know that it's kind of a meme. Just a meme that I've been holding up for 2.5 years now.
I mean, listen.
It's always lucky.
It's always fun. It's always. It's not that it's not having a good time. It's just like sometimes it feels like nothing's going through you, and it can get fucking annoying. It's just because you are so stubborn. But I mean, seeing you shitting on people is just fun, even if it's me. Because you do it in a very specific way, very dry,
When I actually shit on
very
people, I try to.
cutthroat.
When I shit on people, I try to not actually insult them. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Yeah.
one thing I always kept looking for, that I don't actually insult someone on a actually hurtful subject, because that's just, who cares? Who wants to do
Mostly,
that?
it's mostly
It's
just
not even funny.
mostly just calling people out on their bullshit and like exposing it. It's
Memeing
great.
on people is always good. Actually shitting on people and insulting them is not good.
Right.
There was something more I wanted
Uh,
to say about that. Like, it's a meme, but also I do think that, like, with a lot of things, I do think that people didn't actually pay attention when they massively disagree with me on some shows. Also, I will shit on you for your crybait thing, which I guess fits in here. Where you say crybait is
Yeah.
bullshit, but also crybait is a thing, but because most people misuse it, crybait is bullshit. That's not a good argument. Like, crybait is a thing. You just disagree with what is crybait, and when people call your favorite show crybait, you just disagree on whether it is crybait. It's not that crybait as a term is bullshit. Like, crybait has its place, even if it isn't for Violet Evergarden. Or maybe that person had a completely different experience with you. It's like, crybait is a very important thing because of Gundam 00. Because of Gundam Seed.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Dude, remember when what's her fucking face? Flay?
Yeah,
Yeah, Flay. Remember when she got fucking shit on? And this is the most fucking hilarious shit
Bustin'.
I'll just post the bustin'. I'll just put the bustin' shit in the podcast right now. If you're listening to it, watch the fucking screen, okay? It's great. There we go.
Bustin'.
More people should have joined us in the Seed Week,
Yeah,
right?
nobody had the time.
God.
Nobody had the time to join us.
True.
I would have, but I was going release order.
Dude, it's funny because I was actually fucking working all that week. I was just working. And I just did not sleep the whole week. I just slept like 4 hours every day. Just to watch fucking Gundam Seed.
You know, I feel kind of bad
Well,
for
you-
that,
you
but you
didn't
did
sleep?
commit to that. You did commit to the Seed.
It's crazy.
Yeah, because-
Will takes his sleep very seriously, so Will giving up sleep for something is like insane.
Dude, it was like way before we even started it. It was just established as a meme. Like, yeah, we're gonna watch Seed for the whole week. We're just gonna do it. It's just gonna be the most stupid shit we've ever done in our entire lives. And it was.
Yes, I can't wait for the next episode of that.
So you want to watch Alno
Yes,
Zero
Alno
in the same
Alno
way?
Zero is my next.
Good.
Dude,
good.
I will fucking join you guys for Aldnoah Zero. I'm down for a
Yep.
rewatch. It's gonna be so fucking
Hopefully
fun.
next week, maybe later, maybe much later, because I actually have to write a paper until the end of February, which I haven't done any work
Right,
on.
and I'll be going back to school starting next week. So that's the thing.
You going back to school? What for?
I have my schedule right here. I can tell you my.
No.
classes.
I don't give a
Major.
shit about your schedule. I mean, like, what are you doing? What's your major, etc.
Nothing. That's the thing. It's just general studies currently.
General
So,
studies.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
so-
don't need to commit to anything. Like in Germany, you apply for a certain thing. Like I have to apply for my Bachelor of
Yeah.
Arts in History.
Correct. I don't need to commit to anything. It's this program that's specifically made for this, for like people who are undecided.
I guess
or
because
just
you get an
wanna-
associate's, I guess that's the thing. If you want to get a bachelor,
Yeah.
you have to actually specialize. Guess that's how that works.
That's exactly how it works.
That makes sense.
And so there are some classes that are mandatory, of course, like French, English, and physical education. But besides those three, so usually what you would do is take this program just to do those those classes, and then you can go into another program that is just more concentrated into what you actually want to do without having to do the mandatory classes during that time. So I mean, it can be a based way to do it, and that's how I intend to do it. And yeah, I mean, oh yeah, also there's philosophy that's also mandatory, of course.
We kind of had that
Yeah.
in our Oberstufe in the Gymnasium, where you had 3 main subjects and then you had to choose in an array. Like, in the end you had like 10 or 11 subjects that you actually studied, but 3 were important and the other ones were like 2 hours a week. It's like you did have a
Yeah.
specialization, which
Yeah.
for me was very specific: history, physics, and English.
Yeah. See, we have what we have here is again just some like bonus special interest classes. Like mine currently is cinema of the world. That's what it's called. And so, I guess I'm just going to be studying some movies, and I mean, I'm fairly excited for that. I mean, it's going to be based, but that's just like out of like just doing something more out of school, like just learning shit that I want to learn. That's not mandatory at all. Like skipping that class, just not going to it, or just fucking failing it will not matter at all. It will give like doing it will give me some bonuses, so of course that's good. But yeah,
Yeah, I actually have to do
that's how it
something,
works.
because I'm not sure how it works, but there's like a 50-50 chance that if I don't write my papers this semester, I will just drop out by default, which wouldn't be good. Because low-key, the second
Yeah.
semester of my studies I just completely missed. Because, like, at the time I was completely out of it, and there was coronavirus developing. Like, before I could even get into all my uni stuff, uni was shut down. And technically I should get that semester back, but they haven't gotten back to me from the secretary. Whatever. Have to look into that again. I actually have to do stuff. Actually have to do stuff for my degree. That's fun. Especially because now I can't go to the library. The library is closed until the end of January. And I have to write a 15-page paper until the end of February. Unless that gets delayed, which I'm not sure if it does. Like my other paper that I have to write has been delayed to the end of April because of this. And they didn't tell me if the other one is delayed. Uni, everyone is having problems currently. Can't help
Yeah.
it.
See, I mean, that's something I kind of want to get into, just school in general, just because like when I joined Digicord 2019 and mid 2019, it's just all this time until the 25th of January 2021. I have not been going to school. I have been working several jobs. At first I was working at Subway, then I worked at a Pokeball restaurant for more than a year. Then I am currently working at a customer service call center for diabetes people. They use like a specific system and help them with that. But yeah, all this time I've just never been to school. It's going to be a new era. It's just, I think Digicord has one thing that I learned with Digicord is learning to love learning, right? If that makes sense, right? It's just the act of learning in general. I find now is just inherently fun to do, no matter what the subject is. And it's like, yeah.
I mean, I did kind of have
let's
that
go back to
before,
school.
luckily.
Let's do it.
Like anime, I did all my anime research on my own because Digi didn't dig deep enough.
Right.
So I always had to correct Digi.
Right.
So I always did my research myself.
Yeah.
It's really easy to learn if you actually like the
kinda
subject you're learning about, and I think that's the main failure of the education system everywhere. That they fail to engage people with the stuff that is being taught.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely how I got into learning as well. Just learning about anime on my own, just because it's a passion. It's something I was passionate about. It's just like, yeah, I want to learn all about this fucking industry, and I did. I mean, it's funny because I thought I knew a lot. I mean, obviously I do compared to most people, and I would say even most people on Digicord and
especially the
Yardcore,
ones that don't
but
actually watch anime but listen to music. And Mikos.
And then
specifically.
Fucking Mikos. That's a
Yeah,
weird
anime
case, but,
isn't better if you're watching
yeah,
anything other than for ATP. Doesn't look better because you don't look at the screen. You just read the subtitles and then immediately skip forward.
God damn it! I just want. No. Okay.
That's my reaction as well. Yes. Just that I knew that 2 years ago.
So yeah. So, anime was like, yeah, I'm a big anime guy. I know a lot about anime and just in general. And then you just, like, some of our first interactions is just you correcting everything, or just saying more than I could. I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy just knows everything.
Well, the things I was talking about when
It
you
was-
just joined, I knew a lot about at the time. That's the thing.
Right.
And I think
Right. It was mostly
being
Gundam
correct
at the
is
time.
important in my opinion. So correcting people is never a bad thing. So I do it all the time.
That's okay, but listen,
Also, I
It's
shit
true.
on you because it's
correcting people is good. Yeah, of course. I mean, shitting on me, I think will always be fun just because I can take it. And if I can't take it, it's because I'm drunk and I'm just gonna flip out and block Ghost. Fuck you, Ghost. But yeah. So what happened is when you do correct people, yeah, true, correcting people is good. There's just some way in which you do it that just comes off as really condescending. It's just like, well, obviously that's because it's this guy and this guy made this, and you should basically know that, dumbass. That's basically how it
Yes,
comes
how
off.
haven't you watched
Or-
every anime that I have watched? How come? How haven't you watched all the good anime and all the bad ones?
Exactly. Or just there's this big argument that you've had a few times about like people asking for source and you just being like, well, source now exists, and then not answering the guy, just like
I-
completely disengaging with
I
the chat.
think I've
It's just
only ever
like-
did that to people who I've literally posted source now to before. Think all the people I did that to,
I see, okay.
I already told how to do it before and they didn't learn. So I told them, do it.
Right.
Because
But you do remember the big argument with MP4, right?
MP73.
fucking-
73.
MP7, right? MP733, correct.
Yes, it was completely stupid, the argument. It was a completely different approach to
It
the
was,
topic.
yeah.
Where I think pushing people into learning themselves and self-reliance is very important and very helpful for those people. And MP
Yeah,
only
that's
saw the
true, but
downsides
also
of what I
what-
did, of what I could do.
Yeah. But I mean, there is the argument of, I mean, engaging with the chat, just answering the
About
guy's
that,
question.
the person who didn't
Uh,
provide source was Mutsuto. That's what caused that debate. Yes.
Was it?
Pretty sure it was
Jesus
something that
Christ.
Mutsuto posted, and Mutsuto said source is in the title, the file title, and then the argument erupted over that.
I will publicly state my dislike of Mutsuto.
Well, you're not
There
the
we
only
go.
one to do that because I'll join you. Yeah, just kind of annoying sometimes.
Yeah, and weirdly pedophilic.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. Don't know why you would do that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's not get into that. I don't even know if she listens to these episodes. I don't think so. She's largely secluded from
Yeah,
the
she
service
just posts
culture.
random Eastern European animation that nobody cares about, and then tries to
Yeah.
catch out Toom.
Get them
Catch
on
out
ban.
Toom for posting inferior torrents when Toom checked all the torrents and found the best one. Because Toom is actually
Yeah,
reliable
and
in that
then
way.
tries to-
because Toom is based.
I mean, Toom is the most reliable guy when it comes to finding anything
Yeah,
related
he's
to
the
anime.
guy I go to when I
Um,
can't find something. Literally, I ask Toom on ban if he can help me with that.
Yeah. God bless you, Toom.
It usually takes
Very
a couple
based,
of hours
very
before I
based.
give up and ask him, so... At least I'm not doing anything to
So-
inconvenience him massively. also self-reliant, so I always try to find
Right.
something myself first.
And wasn't it weird how Mutsuto kind of like tried to argue the nature of
Yes.
ban with you, and everyone was like,
You know what
Just
the fun thing about
shut
that
up.
was?
no one cares. If you,
The day right after that, it was like at 3 a.m. that argument. On the very next day at 5 p.m., I had an exam. And this person was arguing
Oh, God.
retarded bullshit, was going completely besides every point, and I was trying to get to sleep. I still don't know the result of that exam. It has me worried, even though I wrote a great text for that.
I'm so sorry about your sleep schedule, Dark. I'm so
There's
sorry.
nothing that
Um,
that you can do. It's just broken.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, just if you want to organize a group watch,
Just do it.
you don't have
Yeah,
to make
just
it
do it.
ban. Just make it
do
yourself.
It's organizing stuff, not organizing
I-
ban.
Yeah, exactly. I just organized a Pacific Rim group watch. A lot of people joined in. It
That's
was great.
cool.
We had fun.
Right now,
Great fun
oh,
time. And
Okay, not anymore, but when we started, there was still the Bang Dream group watch going on.
yeah,
It
exactly.
works.
Exactly. And by the way, I think the Pacific Rim group watch sort of inspired just a general desire to watch more movies, and it's going to happen, guys. So just stay tuned in organizing stuff. We're probably just going to
Yeah,
announce
next week is Empire. Next
more
week
movies
is
that we're
Empire.
going to group watch.
I hope you're prepared.
Is it?
I
No, it's
wouldn't know
not.
where to get Empire.
What's Empire again? It's what 9 hours of
It's a 485-minute film of slow motion black and white footage, silent, of the
9/11.
Empire State Building at dawn.
Okay, not of 9/11, just of the Empire State Building.
Yeah, 9/11. That's those weird albums there.
Yeah.
You know, don't know what they are called, but there are those super acclaimed 9/11 noise albums. I have never listened to them.
Me neither.
That's also good.
Oh.
That's a good Google search term. 9/11 noise album.
All right. Well, while we're on music, let's get on the fucking question, Dark. I assume you've never listened to Proto Man.
The only Protoman I ever listened to is the parts you played on this podcast, and I thought they all sounded like shit. That's my experience with Proto Man. And I guess I listened to Digi sing some of the songs on the IM Games. Because Digi
I
would
wasn't
sing all kinds of
expecting
stuff
anything.
on
I
IM
wasn't
Games.
expecting anything else. So.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I told you before, I don't even have enough time to listen to the music I want to listen
Right.
to. But I already know I want to
Let me
listen
tell
to.
you, Dark. There's a great frustration I feel a lot of times because we
Yeah, because I don't care about other people recommending me stuff.
yeah because we like so much of the same things, right? We're obviously the two big Gundam and Mecha guys just in general, and we like again as just a lot like our main things is Mecha and cute girls. It's just we just generally agree on that, and it's,
Yeah, we're just gunbuster bros, basically.
yeah, basically. And then, I mean, I watch all the things a lot of things you recommend me, and then you just sit in your corner, just not caring about anything I say. But, I mean, I don't mind, obviously. I'm just getting cultured on my side. I mean, you're missing out on
I
things.
guess I was always low-key resenting of peer pressure, and that developed into not caring about anything.
Right. I mean, that makes sense.
That's where that comes
That
from.
makes sense. I mean, I just love to take recommendations from friends, because especially if I know.
I mean, I used to.
if that like
I have taken recommendations on the server before, like, yeah, when I first posted my music 3x3, my album 3x3, because I had Artillery on there. He recommended me a bunch of thrash metal bands.
right.
Listen to some of them. Some of them were good. Some of them I didn't like so much. They were good overall. Like, that did happen. And there was that one time I asked everyone in Music Talk to give me their top 10 metal albums, and I'd listened to all of them. I ended up listening to like 5 of them. And then that thing just died because my life circumstances changed and I couldn't really afford listening to an album every day like that, and also watching anime and keeping up with my studies at the time. That just kind of fizzled out. Sorry to all the people, but thanks to Tang who had recommended me Tales of Creation by Candlemass, the most based thing ever.
True.
Yeah.
True. Candlemass is fucking based.
Like-
Holy shit, it's so good.
And Tang keeps recommending me other stuff. I listen to some of it. I have to admit I don't listen to all of it because I just either I listen to 5 minutes of it and forget, or I just say let's put it in another tab, and then my Chrome crashes and the tab is gone.
That also happens to me. You can. Oh god, I fucking hate losing tabs, especially when I pin them. I fucking pin the tabs, and then fucking somehow Chrome just something happens with it, and I lose all my pin tabs. And I'm very sad.
Chrome.
Very sad.
Chrome is not very good. I think Chrome has one specific add-in that you can't disable because it's Google Docs, which spontaneously decides to eat all of your RAM and crash your PC.
Constantly have Google Docs open. God damn it.
It happens to me once a day because I have 8 gigabytes of RAM. So it's not enough for Chrome.
Right.
Every time I complain about Google Chrome, it's because of that. It's always that.
It happens quite
Also,
often.
EDubs, I hope you didn't fall asleep.
EDubs has a tendency to fall asleep on
Wait, what?
unapportionate times. Okay, what's up, EDubs?
Would
What's
you ask
going
me?
on?
Would you ask me?
I was just wondering why you had been quiet for an
Oh,
extended
no.
while.
I'm just chilling. Don't worry about it.
He's flying. He's
Hey,
thinking about the
Yeah,
planes.
we always have to watch out with you because you will fall asleep, unlike me.
Look,
Like I couldn't fall asleep if I
I'm
wanted
not gonna
to.
fall asleep on a podcast. Like, come
You
on.
are going to pee in a bottle, though.
You should have kept quiet there. Just for longer.
I can extend
Just-
it by editing.
Well,
Do that.
Will,
What's up?
you understand that some things are meant to be in private, yes?
I mean, it's just a funny anecdote. If
God
you
damn
really
it.
want me to cut it out, I will. But
No, it's fine. Whatever.
Just don't be munchy, okay?
yeah, just don't do it on the mic.
God damn it.
By the way, press 1.
Pr-
I hope all the comments of the video are now 1. Yes, 1.
Peak procrastinators era. Let's be honest.
Probably, yeah. Actually, oh yeah, that's an old meme. It's like a 2016, 2017 meme.
Yeah, very old meme. Yep.
It was when Endless Chess was still alive, a meme.
Yep. God damn it.
I wish that podcast was still good. Because that was also a thing I spent a lot of time with.
Yeah, the Procrastinators podcast became a fucking shithole. When it was just... you reached the
It
point...
was just Ben and Nate.
Yeah, you reached the point where it was just Ben and Nate being like,
Yeah.
listen, communism. And then Nate going, listen, capitalism. And then Ben going, listen, communism. Back and forth, forever. All the episodes.
And then Nate left and it was just Ben saying communism. I guess that's how it goes now. I don't know. I haven't listened to any of the Solo Ben episodes. I assume they're just Ben on the 5 different voice channels saying communism for 2 hours.
I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Fucking
I would actually like that more than most of the podcasts I heard from him, so... Because it would actually be kind of funny.
Now you can't get too mad at Ben Saint, Dark. Because, I mean...
Ben
The
Taint.
coolest thing about Ben Saint is that he's a physics major, but apparently he's forgotten all of it at this point.
Well, he also
I don't know.
he also gave back the Digicord, which
Oh yeah, he did do that.
it was very nice of him, considering the circumstances. He kind of didn't have to. So
Which is also like basic human decency.
it's true,
So, yeah.
true.
I commend Ben Saint for having basic human decency. I didn't expect
Thank you-
that from
thank you,
someone
Ben
who runs
Saint.
RFCK.
Timmy's, however, What's up, Timmy's?
Well,
I can't-
we're
I can't-
gonna have
I
him
can't
on
wait
eventually.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to explain all of your fucking side of the story, because currently,
And how Guns is actually at fault. That's what I gathered from the people, that Guns is actually the one who did it.
that might be the case. I'm sure we'll have some plot twists here and there, but here, currently, our point of view of this story is that you simply abandoned the Discord to the mercy of the slimy hands of Ben Saint and
And Manchi.
Manchi. And so we were we were scared for 2 days. But yeah, I mean, we'll get into that at one point. I'm sure it's a big story. Where were you? Where were you? Just at the beginning of band, still, right?
Yeah. You were asking me about how I got to my point of being the guy who constantly made the dry jokes. I think at the time Luke Herzen or Olivia,
Olivia
I think
nowadays.
is the name now.
Olivia or Marie. I think she's like experiencing with names, which is fairly weird for me. I mean, I'm used to calling Olivia, and she said that we can just call her Olivia, even though she also wants to be Mary. So Olivia.
We'll let her figure it out. I haven't talked to her for since like 2019, but basically she was around back then as Luke Herzen. Incidentally, I just started watching Hidamari's sketch when I joined the server. Yeah, by the way, a correction to Nyad. I watched Hidamari's sketch from the 1st of January of 2019 until March 2019, one episode a day.
Nice.
That's how I did that. In the time in between, Endless watched Hidamari's sketch. That's the thing. Like, Luke watched Hidamari's sketch, Endless watched Hidamari's sketch, I rewatched Hidamari's sketch, and made my 4,000 screenshots. That's how that went. That's why you remember it all being overlapping.
Right. I see. I watched Hidamari's sketch in a week, and you disapproved of this when I did.
You know how long it took me for my first watch?
65 days or 60 days.
It started in April and it ended in, I think, September.
That is very long. See,
Yeah,
the
I
thing
watched other stuff.
the thing that happened with Hidamari's sketch is I watched it shortly after joining Digicord, and that was the big reignition of my anime passion for a lot of reasons. But Hidamari's sketch was one of those animes that really got me back into it big time, and so I just could not stop. I was just completely enamored with it, like, and I was like, this is just K-On! All over again. And it was so fucking good. Holy shit, so good. Of course,
Yeah.
at the time I had some really really cringe takes, as I mean, we can go over them.
I also had some cringe takes, although most of them were just being non-committal on stuff. Anyway, the thing is that I always had the more relaxed approach to shows like that. Nichijou took a month to finish. Like Gochi Usa, it took me a couple of weeks to finish. It was just my rhythm with those shows. You could just watch them slowly, and I liked watching them slowly.
Right.
Or just chill. I think
Right.
that's way better for those shows.
True.
So low-key judging everyone who doesn't watch them at a slow pace.
I mean, I mean, I rewatched the first season of Hidamari's sketch. I intend, of course, on completing that rewatch and watching the other 3 seasons. But
I mean, it's 4 seasons effectively with all the specials.
true. But yeah, that rewatch of the first season took me like a month, and so yeah, that's just
But
the kind
like-
of show. That's just that kind of show. And I mean, at the time, of course, my very cringe take was that the soundtrack was bad.
Which is the most cringe take I've ever heard.
Yeah,
think-
it's up there.
Well,
I mean,
there are some super cringe takes like Gunbusters Imperialist Propaganda, of course. That classic. That
Mhm.
Kodo didn't even invent, because Kodo just snapped that from the
Yeah.
Anime Critique blog. It actually posited that argument and it made no sense. But like someone posted it, and then Kodo read it. And now we're never going to get rid of it. That's just how that happens.
because the words of Kodo are gospel or whatever, however you say that. But yeah,
The words of Kodo barely qualify as words. Anyway, with Luke at the time, like, you know about Luke, how Luke kept posting about P?
Yeah, she still does.
Yeah, Olivia
poking
still
about
has the
P?
P fetish.
Posting
course.
yes, P?
Has a P fetish.
Today,
Oh.
it happened
Holding
today.
P.
Yeah. Peeing. Just peeing in general.
I mean, okay.
It would have been better if they didn't insert it into every discussion in anime talk, but whatever.
It
I
is
could deal with
sometimes
it while
uncomfortable.
You can poke fun at it, that's the good thing.
Yeah.
Like, Luke at the time had a very interesting, like, very naive kind of way of posting on the server. Like, just kind of made a habit of bouncing off what she said back then. Like, making fun of her, stuff like that, just playing around with her. Because playing verbal games is always fun. It's something I always like to do,
Yeah.
as you can probably tell, if you've ever
Yes.
talked to me. If you've ever read me just making stupid jokes when I'm tired. Like, if my bad zingers amount is the highest, if the density is the highest, I'm probably just in bed writing bad jokes.
I mean,
I think that's where that comes from, where it was just bouncing off. And I guess my humor just lends itself to being very dry.
yeah, it really does.
Like, I did the same thing with Holo for a time. Holo is the person who's created the idea that I was 43,
Right.
which is why I'm 45 today. Nice to meet you.
Damn,
1975 was one hell of a year, I tell you.
What a fucking boomer. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, apparently I talk like I'm way older than I am. Ugh.
I mean,
Like,
listen,
like,
at
a year
first,
later-
when I just did not know you, and I was like just dipping my toes in the server, just observing you and Comrade group watching things. F, by the way, F that was fun. I just because of the meme that you had, you just probably just said it at one point. Yeah, I'm 45 or 44 or whatever. I just believed it. And
Yeah,
like,
I
it
legit
made
did
sense.
think he
It
was
made
like
sense
45
just
for a while.
it made sense just with the way you interacted with the chat, and I think it's AIDS who revealed it to me. AIDS was just like, oh, Darkest 21. I was like, oh, oh, okay.
I need to find Digi's reaction to me telling her. Because Digi also, that was like a year later even. It was just like, we were talking about stuff and I told Digi that I was 20 and Digi's reaction was like, holy fuck. Yeah,
'Cause
I'm
it's so
21,
weird.
guys. I'm 21.
You have made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time in a way that's kind of astonishing.
I mean,
People always said that I was the adult quiet kid, always.
uh,
I guess that's just a thing I always had.
I mean, we sort of went into that in the last episode with Yard, right? I mean, all of us sort of made a lot of progress really quick because of this server and the surrounding servers.
Yeah.
I think
I
my
was
main
I was
thing is that
a I
the
was
thing
just
that
a
actually
fucking-
developed on the server for me is that I just got into a habit of writing out my thoughts on shows, which most of the time,
Yeah.
like before I went on the server, like only in very few conversations did I actually try to formulate what I thought about shows, and when I formulated it for myself, I wrote it into my giant spreadsheet, where the only space I used was the rest of the thing, of the...
Yeah.
So it was one line that went over half the screen and everything had to fit in there. Which is good because I'm good at making very compressed text.
Right.
But
Very concise. Yeah.
it doesn't lend itself to
Fuck.
actually analyzing anything.
Fucking. I think I was insufferable. Every time I read the old messages, I just come off as an annoying kid.
I didn't think you were too terrible at the time, but maybe that's just because I was used to people like Josh
Yeah. I mean,
and the
it's
revolving
because
door.
it's also because I was open, right, and just willing to change. But fucking, you're not a very wall guy. However, it
I can.
you
wall.
are
That's the
yeah,
thing.
you can wall, but you also just in general just very thoughtful about the things you watch, and I think you'll just be able to explain everything if you just
I actually
ask the question.
prefer
Yeah.
just explaining things in voice chat. I think that's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
easier than writing a wall, because
Oh,
then
God.
immediately there can be a question back, which is my
Right.
biggest problem with walls. Because if you write a giant wall, and then someone asks about the first point, thanks. Like now
Yeah.
half the argument doesn't make any sense. And
Yeah,
also you
that's-
can
that-
actually go into it and explain something to a person that might not understand a specific context, so you can't get lazy. Or, like Nihat put it in the podcast, got lazy about terminology. That thing with Fundy.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah, where was I?
You were at
Olivia. I was at Olivia.
Olivia. Right.
I mean, I was always bouncing off Olivia. I started bouncing off other people. Like Endless is super fun to talk to. He also knows how to bounce off my stuff. Like a lot of people were pretty quick-witted in the text, so we could
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make jokes. We could just make jokes about how AOT is an allegory about the Jewish takeover of Western media. Copyright Massive. That's what Massive said in 2018.
Massive is still going strong in Yardcord, and it's fucking funny.
Well,
But you're wrong. You're wrong. Attack on
wasn't-
Titan is
I
about
wasn't
Brown.
always. I
Yeah,
wasn't
Attack on
always
Titan's
very
about
fond
Brown.
of Massive, I have to say. Like a lot
mean,
of the memes
nowadays-
he posted.
Nowadays they just post memes. That's
Yeah.
all they
I
do.
mean, that's everything Massive did for a long time in Digicord as well. Post weird memes that make no sense.
I mean, even outside of posting memes, they would just come in and they'd be like, haha, and they'd like make like a quick observation and then they wouldn't say anything again for a few months. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like Massive. Massive Dong, Massive Legend, Massive Idiot. They all fit.
They all fit.
There
All
was
fit.
one person that I don't think anyone... think Tang or Miki talked about this person who I remember. Meme Manifest.
Me manifest. Yeah.
Meme Manifest. The living meme. You know Koi no Katachi is the 6 because it exploits deaf people. Yeah.
That's a take.
that's interesting.
That's a take that completely ignores the movie and the manga, which is recommended and made in cooperation with the Deaf
Oh.
Association of Japan.
Speaking of takes that completely ignore the thing that it's about, I mean, I'm not going to get into it here because we got into it in the podcast on Miki's channel, so go listen to that. But basically, Howard, I know you're listening to this, and I know you're going to be listening to the other podcast on Miki's channel as well. Howard, you can't just warp a show's text to fit your own worldview if the show's text goes against your worldview, Howard. That's not how it works.
I mean, that he doesn't have a lot of good examples right in front of him. Like, a lot of Western media analysis does exactly that, sadly. Which is why I'm not
Yeah.
fond on reading a lot of academic stuff. Also because it often ignores context. Like the one thing
That-
about, you know, the classic about how Gundam is the generic mecha show that Ava breaks all the rules of. That thing.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm not getting into it here. Miki has a great rant about this in his podcast, so go listen to it on Miki's channel. It's going to be great.
Are we done
Yeah.
doing the advertisements? I hope you get money from that. Otherwise, it's a waste.
We're all doing non-profit, all of our podcasts.
See, that's why you'll never achieve anything in life.
Damn right, and that's perfectly okay. I mean, I just listen. That's okay. Not achieving anything? Who gives a shit? Literally, who gives a shit? But keep going. You were at
One of the things
massive
about
and endless.
One of the things about me manifest is that with him you'll always have... He's a classic insane person in the server. You always had really weird takes that you could just try and take apart, which I tried
Right.
at a few times, which made him interesting. But then he renamed himself to Marit's Gift and started his own weird Discord server, which was apparently about destroying Israel and the glory of Palestine, which is why I didn't join it, because his memes about it were stupid. Yeah, I don't know, I don't remember, I think I deleted that DM.
Wait, Massive Legend?
No,
No, meme manifest.
Meme
Oh,
Manifest,
Meme
he's
Manifest.
deleted.
Oh, okay.
Now
Okay.
Marit's Gift, still in my Mal friends list. Has some really cringe takes, obviously. Some very good takes, like Hidamari's Sketch is one of his favorite shows, but
See,
then
it's
again,
hard. It's
Pet
hard to
Labor
take
is
someone's
shit.
good. Yeah, see, it's hard to take someone's good take on something when it seems like their taste is just completely random, right? It's like, sure, you like Gurren Lagann,
Yeah, speaking of Mutsuko,
but yeah, exactly. It's like, sure, you like this, but so how can you not like this? And then the reason is just completely ignore everything uh, about the thing.
yeah,
And it's,
sometimes
okay.
your argument just goes like people just are on completely different levels of engagement and ways of engagement. Something I've
Yeah.
noticed with my brother as well, where
Yeah.
he didn't like he was disappointed with Ava because he didn't really like the Kaworu episode. I think it was one of the things he didn't like. He was like, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Why
have my
specifically
problems
that
with the
episode?
common interpretations of that episode, obviously, because that's a
We
controversial
have
one.
we have a lot of people in this server actually just engaging with anime or just things in general in completely bizarre way. I mean, we alluded to Mikos earlier,
Yeah.
but I mean, a big other one that I butt heads a lot with, of course, is Ghost or MP7. Also, what the fuck is going on at that guy's head?
Or Kazuki. Although
Or Kazuki,
Kazuki's
yeah.
problem is just that he speed watches everything.
Yeah, very much
Like,
so.
yeah, in Gundam, like, Sailor only left the ship, only went out in the Gundam because of the reason she literally gave to Bride, which was obviously. It was the most obvious excuse.
Yep.
Like, if you paid attention to the show, you'd know. Like, Kazuki even complained about the Salt episode, which even on M is a meme to complain about.
Dude, can I fucking talk about Kazuki? Because I have a big history about that guy, man.
And save it
Like-
for the podcast with Kazuki, just mute him and shit on him all day.
Yeah, that'll be perfect since Kazuki is the curse of Valhalla. We can't communicate. I'll just mute him, and we'll be in a podcast where we both talk over each other for 2 hours.
The roast of Kazuki.
Kazuki is misunderstood. The boy.
Edubs. I'll get into Kazuki one day. My side of the story.
We should.
But
I
yeah.
mean, you're already into Kazuki Nakashima.
Very true. Very
Was
true.
there just a second of thinking who actually is Kazuki Nakashima?
Yes, because I imagine his name with an H like
Yeah,
Kazuki the
which
Digicord
obviously doesn't
member.
work.
Yeah.
Guess I'm better at picking up at those. That's always something I noticed, that sometimes stupid puns I make go over people's head because they just don't think of that connection.
Yeah.
It was even worse in school, that stuff. Where people would just not understand my joke. It happens.
Or it might not just be funny.
Sometimes, usually when it wasn't funny, they tell me that it wasn't funny. That's the difference.
Oh.
Like, I was known
Yeah.
for my bad jokes, even back then.
Dark's gonna be like the ultimate dad.
Yes, that's why I'm 43, 45 now. It all
Damn,
makes
can't
sense.
imagine Dark with a fucking kid. Impossible. Not have.
It could just be a small Gyaradoga.
Dad, I don't want to watch 500 70s, 80s OVAs and all these series in release order. And Dark's just like, you're gonna do it, bitch.
I'll just say, Damare.
Yep, that's how it goes. That's how it goes. I often imagine myself just like, I mean, I don't want to have a kid, but it's just sometimes just the thought goes through my mind. I mean, if I had a kid, what would be the anime that I would show them, and at what age, right? It's
You know, that's an
because obviously I
that's an
would.
interesting topic, because I think everyone who says they don't want to have kids are just not old enough to get into the phase of wanting to get kids. I think you also had it with
Yeah.
Digi, who suddenly switched into I want to have kids once May got into her life. Because, like,
I mean, there's some other
did you ever hear anything about
S-
Digi's children before anyone
Digi
even
doesn't know what the
existed?
fuck she wants ever.
Yeah,
So
never.
listen. There's some other factors in my case, not just about
Oh yeah, genetics, right.
not genetics. Yeah, I want to end the fucking French Canadian line. It's
We
over.
should. You know it's for the good of the
can't have
world.
their bones be too good too long.
No, but I mean, not genetics, just general sexual things. I just don't want to get into in this podcast. Yeah. So,
So you were on D.
so I was on B. No, I was never on B.
No, on D. Not on B. D.
I don't even know what
D is
No,
good.
D is
It's hentai alternative.
hentai alternative.
Oh, and yeah, right. No, I never went on the hentai alternative.
It's for
man.
all the stuff that's too hardcore for
I-
age,
I always-
except for lolicon, shotacon, and hentai.
Oh
I-
no, don't listen. My tastes in anime porn is very basic. Not going into that big weird shit.
Yeah, not gonna lie, if you ever just want to like feel confident and normal in your sexual fetishes, just like browse D for like a minute and you'll be good. Like
or jump into an existential crisis.
I thought I was a fucking weirdo, and then I went, dude, I still can't handle D. Anytime I open D for like longer than 2 seconds, I just start feeling very uncomfortable, and I just close it immediately. Anytime that I like even think about looking in there, it's just it's so weird. It's not even like. It's not even like Guro. Like Guro, you can just be like, oh, that's gross, that's weird. You're like you're like a sadist. It's stuff that's just like completely just out of nowhere, and like it's
Yes,
so
yep.
unsettling at the same time. And you're like,
Yep.
wait, what, why?
Yeah,
But-
like
I never had any problems like this. I was never bothered by anything like that.
fucking
I
hell.
know I'm not into most of the shit indie, but I'm not bothered by it.
I am very
It was just
bothered
like, it
by it. There's
exists.
some things that are just, like just fucking. I cannot forget them, and it's fucking. Jesus
I feel
Christ! Like
I feel like uncanny is the right word. Like D is just uncanny, very much.
yeah,
It's the uncanny mountain of porn.
God, there's something.
Because it's definitely not a valley. Because there are way too many footers on that board.
See, no, I forgot what I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah, no, I forgot. Never mind. My brain just shut down. So you guys keep talking.
Yeah, 2018. The thing that I think was a bit neglected was the revolving door of people. Because like in 2018 there were people for a couple of months that just didn't exist later on. 2019 there were people like that. And we just kind of forget them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
you remember Solid CS, right?
I remember Solid CS. Yes, I called him something. I think like because he had a really shit take. I think I got mad at him and called him Solid CS. Stands for Solid Cocksucker.
Should have gone for the obvious one. Solid CS, more like Solid
Child.
BS.
I mean, I wanted to go for the acronym, you know.
Yeah, but you have to
I
change the
think I
acronym.
vaguely remember Solid CS like still like existing when I joined. Like he wasn't active at all, but I remember that he was like still somewhat there, and then he left.
You know how we have Endless Ennui? We also used to have when I joined Acedia. Which is like, now that I think about it, now that I'm aware what Acedia even means, that word, because ESL, I don't know the word acedia from the top of my head. That's not part of my education. Now that I think about it, yeah, that's super fitting somehow. Acedia was actually a cool dude when I talked to him, like for a month, and then disappeared. That's one of the very interesting things about the Digicord that I always valued, that we've kind of lost, but we have a more stable community in exchange. That there was always a revolving door of people.
Yeah, it's really weird how it just seems like over time, like people just stayed like longer and longer. Like it seems like in the beginning, like there was just so much turnover. Like
I think we just remember all the people that have stayed, actually. I think that's a big problem, a big bias there.
I mean, it's true that there's
sure
a lot of
that
people that left, and I remember them. Like, I really do.
2018, 2019 had a lot of people joining and leaving again. Like, very consistently. Bit more right after the August week. Like, we had people like Erdelf, which Niad will remember, and nobody else will, probably. Because Erdelf was there for maybe a week. Had some of the weirdest, worst anime takes I've ever seen, and then disappeared again.
Rip.
At the time, part of the German supremacy on the server, where we had like Niad, Luke at the time, Flag, Erdelf, me. We had Rob, who was from Austria, but obviously Austria is just Germany for people who can't speak. I think we even had other people. Like, we had so many Germans at the server at the time. We even made jokes about how the server is half German and half American.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, we have me, we have Nemil, and we have Nihat sometimes.
Nihat becoming more active because of...
Nihat was not active in 2020.
Right.
Let's just say that. Or in the second half of 2019, after I stopped doing those group watches because my schedule didn't allow them anymore.
By the way, you can thank this podcast for Nihat's increased interest in interacting with the server. That's how he told me. That's why. And also music chat popping off. Let's go.
Which is good because Nihat is one of the people who doesn't go about interacting with Digicord in a douchey way.
Yeah.
Which I hope the other people will also stop now.
Fucking.
I think that's the general like direction it's going. Obviously.
That's one of my big problems. Like in 2019, after everyone had left.
Yeah.
Like, I liked a bunch of the people that left. I obviously didn't like a bunch of the people that left. Some of the people I didn't like stayed around for the longest, sadly. And like when people who I used to like came back, or I interacted with them very sparsely, they had a much less nice attitude towards me, let's say that. Were much more like on their high horse, yeah, you idiot. Ever
since I joined Yardcord, I've been actively fighting, defending the image of Digicord, because I've always liked the server and what it was doing, just differently from Yardcord. It's just a completely different atmosphere that I just wanted to conserve. And when I joined Yardcord is when I realized that no, I did not want Digicord anime chat discourse to change more and become more like Yardcord. I was like,
by the way, Yardcord is not like Digicord used to be. Just to clear up that. Wasn't definitely not like that.
It
was more like Yardcord when the Yardcord people were there. But it's nothing like Yardcord, at least from my experience and from what everyone tells me.
Yeah, I don't
different.
think it is either. Yeah.
I know some people, like a certain Mr. Cumbrag, seems to be connected to an idea like that. Don't know how deep that goes.
Just by arguing with people and just over time, I think I've convinced.
In voice chat, people were a lot nicer than in text chat.
Yes,
it's just a general
true.
thing.
That's very true.
I mean, that's just like an in general type of thing, though.
Yeah, because you can't like get mad at someone in voice. It's a lot harder.
Yeah, I'll just dump on you anyway because it's funny. Because I'm never mad. That's a good thing.
Wait, so Will, I'm kind of high and drunk, so I'm having trouble remembering their name. Who
you will fall asleep.
Who was it that? No, I'm not gonna. I'm fuck off, Dark. Who was it? Jeb? Was it Jeb who like?
Jeb?
Yeah.
Jeb?
Yeah.
Jeb.
Dude, he won the election, dude. looking
No,
for
not
In a
Jeb Bush.
landslide.
Wait, no, not Jeb Bush. Fuck, who was it? Who was it that like?
538 votes.
Who was it that like randomly became like got like real pissy and left? What was their name?
You mean Gypsy?
Jep.
Jep,
Jep.
who used to
Yeah,
go by
Jep.
Gypsy
Yeah.
before that. Like
Oh.
if you hear an old Digi videos and Patreon related stuff, Gypsy, that's Jep.
It's
For
so
everyone
weird
who wasn't
'cause-
aware of that, by the way, Gypsy is Jep.
Yeah, like I just
Thanks to Scam World, by the way. Moshi Moshi, Scamuvarudo.
Camualdo fucking based. It's so funny because like I just remember he was always like super cool. He was always real chill. He was involved with the DPico thing, which was fun. He's forever immortalized by the DPico
Can't do
DJ
this shit
Khaled
no
meme.
more.
Yeah. And like it was just so weird because like one day like I just was like I was having like a real good day, went to like a sushi place, got some sushi. I was like, oh yeah, here's my sushi, it's pretty sick. And Jeb's just like you fucking like dumb fucking idiot American fucking fat retard eating like mayonnaise on your sushi, which it wasn't. It was just like spicy sauce. I mean, it might have some kind of derivative, but like and like whatever. It's just like I live in the fucking South. I get what I can get. I don't fucking complain. And he's just got like real fucking unreasonably mad about it. And then he had some shit with some other people, and then he just like left. We like never heard from him again.
Yeah,
And, like,
I think he was going through some shit on obviously because it was so out of fucking nowhere. He was really chill like as he described, and then out of nowhere just N-word all over the place. Fuck you, fuck you. It's like, no, this thing you like is actually garbage. I hate you and I hate it also, and you are an N-word. Go fuck yourself. And
call
like,
Low key base,
N-word?
but also don't do that, please.
yeah, and then and I'm just like, dude, you know, you can ask for help, right? And then like 2 days later, he left.
Damn.
I mean, if Jeb wants to come back, just contact one of us. You'll get back in.
Imagine if
Doesn't
Jeb
matter.
came back. That'd be fucking insane. Holy
Would be
shit.
cool.
Yeah, if you're listening to this, you can explain to us what exactly happened then, and if you are really depressed.
If you're actually depressed, we'll make you watch K-On! Until you die.
That's always the impression I get when someone's like really obnoxious and like combative about things, like, and out of nowhere, and like
That's probably
I'm just like,
very accurate.
yeah.
Think I do that myself sometimes. Yes.
Fucking Ghost comes off as depressed a lot of the time just because he's like so fucking like
Does
smug
he?
about everything. Yeah,
I don't
just
think that.
because-
I think he's just
No,
has a
but
completely
Ghost is
different
always
approach.
no. I don't agree there, Will. I think he's always having fun with it.
I mean that is true. Let me correct myself. At first, I mean, you remember the night where Ghost joined. I mean, it was.
I remember the night. Yes.
Yeah, it was a night. I mean,
I-
Ghost, you'll get on this podcast at one point, so we can get into it then. I'm sure it'll be really funny. But
The thing is, someone who said I just got banned from Destiny's Discord doesn't sound depressed.
Yeah, I mean, like, I've
True.
always, even back in the early days with his infamous fucking carpet bombing of the Symphogear discussion with Kodo, I believe.
see, it wasn't even like that. I just interpret it like that, and I just blew it out of
Well,
proportion
no,
because
no,
I
no,
was
I think
super drunk.
It wasn't just you were blowing it out of proportion. He was also going super hard, but also like
Well, he was going hard just because he saw that I was taking the bait, like
Yeah.
a fucking drunk idiot at
Yeah.
a fucking job party.
like as someone that's semi-actively watched Destiny for like almost 4 years, like I can just tell his vibe. Like just the fact that he's like, yeah, I got kicked off fucking Destiny's Discord. That was the first thing that was like, yeah, I came to Digicord because I know that Digibro is a guy. He was a guy at the time. Or she was a
Yeah.
guy at the time. Like Digibro is a guy that I know, and I got kicked off Destiny's Discord. I guess I might as well go to Digibro's Discord. Like, like just I got Ghost instantly. Like even back
So
then,
so
even when he
complete irreverence. And I mean, with hindsight, I 100% agree with this. It's just it took me like a half a year to get that, just because my first impression of him was me being drunk and him um, insulting my existence.
Yes,
well,
as
I
you
mean,
should.
and like it was just it was really funny because like it was so funny because like you got so heated about it especially during the simple gear discussion and like I was just like bro chill like in the DMs I was like it's cool we'll just ignore it and then like I'd be
Yeah, I
talking to
remember that.
yeah I'd be talking to Ghost and I'd be like, just like vibing, like low key, like getting him on the wavelength, dude. It's so interesting. And now he's more like part of the boys, but like he's still he doesn't give a fuck. Like he'll just say it how it is, like for him at least, and he'll just fucking go there. It's
I
it's
mean,
hilarious.
I've come to agree with Gus on a lot of things. I mean, Swans, big vibe, big vibe. I was so happy when Ghost was like
Yeah, I
a
prefer
big
ducks.
Swans fan, and I was just like, damn, finally a Swans guy. I mean, at the time I wasn't interacting with other people who knew Swan on Yardcord, but yeah. We'll get into Ghost when Ghost is on here. I'm sure he'll be glad to come and laugh at me.
The thing about
Um,
about Ghost's origin is that it may be depressing, but he wasn't depressed.
Oh yeah, that's just what I wanted to get into.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
just made a
I
pun,
it
if you didn't notice.
no, I did not. I'm
It
sorry.
it is depressing, but he wasn't depressed. Oh,
Does anyone get that?
Dark moment. We'll just go
yeah,
on.
completely. Like the way he joined our server was depressing. Like, it's a
Oh, got
depressing
it.
circumstance.
Right. Okay. That I mean that's funny. That makes sense. All right. I'm sorry. I don't
This
get
is how
jokes.
every joke went at high school, where I made a joke that actually worked, and then nobody heard it. Then they had to ask. Then it wasn't funny anymore.
Dark, don't even go on this bullshit, bro. Like, okay,
It just
legit.
is just how that was. When my jokes are
Listen,
funny, people don't hear them. Sorry.
listen,
Sorry,
listen.
Dark. This is the complete opposite of
Okay,
my humor. It's
okay,
just I can't vibe with that.
Yeah.
okay,
I get
okay.
it.
I gotta tell you. I I've been dating someone for almost 8 years at this point, and when you have someone around that long, and you're like she told me that I'm pretty funny, but there's also been a lot of shit that's missed, and you at some point you get to this point where you realize, maybe some of my jokes really are that stupid. Like maybe they just don't work that hard sometimes, like you just have to face that reality,
Oh,
Dark, and like
I'm completely
yeah.
aware that most of my jokes are stupid shit, but if they get a laugh, that was all it took. It was worth it.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, at
Um,
this point, your routine of not being funny is more funny than you
it's
actually
fucking
being funny.
hilarious. It's like
So it
you just
it works in my
Yeah, it all
opinion.
works out in
there's
Like
the
there's
end.
like a there's like a huge fucking conversation overnight, and then you just wake up the next morning and Dark just has one comment and it's a stupid fucking joke and you're like, well, that's not funny. But just the reason, like just the way in which Dark comes in here at the end and just says a one-liner, it's just absolutely hilarious.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
You always
But
need a
yeah,
stupid joke at the end to break it up.
true. But yeah,
And if it's
at
just
first,
the yes, Isayama never used CG when making the manga. I hope I helped
but yeah,
Kazuki with that. I really do.
Ghost came to me as depressed at the time, just because he was so seemingly bitter about and smug about like he was
Was definitely smug
having
and bitter
a
about stuff, yes. Especially about
and
Kaon.
it came off as a superiority complex, which just means an inferiority. You know the fucking word. I can't speak. I'm French. Inferiority complex.
We need an
That's
emote that's
how
just
yeah.
French.
I mean, I gave people the fucking Quebec flag, but no one stole it.
We just need like
Doesn't Discord just have a Quebec flag?
No, it doesn't. I had to make it myself. Jesus Christ! I'm just gonna post it
I
in
guess
server
that's
talk
just
right
cosmic
now.
justice.
Yeah, very true. Deserved. Absolutely deserved. Listen, steal that emote, guys.
We should have
Steal
added a Maryland flag, because I know there's a lot of flag artists who hate the Maryland flag. They actually like the Maryland flag.
We just need like Will like low key like jizzing face next to some like poutine, like an emote of poutine, and then we'll be
No.
golden.
Yeah, but then the
I don't
emote
want-
is
I
actually
don't want
Putin
to-
as a poutine.
Yeah, it's just Putin, the Russian president. No, but
The soon-to-be former Russian president, as we know.
as we know,
Is Putin getting out? Is that a
I
thing?
think he has Parkinson's.
yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah,
Oh wow.
something like that.
Insane.
He announced that he would at some point leave his office because he's too old. I'm sure he will
Dude.
continue to rule Russia from the shadows for the next 50 years.
So what we're on? We're about to get like coup number 52 in Russia.
I think we'll
or
just
something
get
like that.
Putin marionette number 5.
Yeah.
Don't think they'll have another coup. Think he's just too solid.
But yeah, fucking Jesus Christ. I lost my train of thought again. Great. Very good. Very good podcast, by the way. Very structured.
Yes, who gives a
Very-
shit?
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? Who
I
gives
know.
a fuck?
Literally. I mean, that was my philosophy going into it. I think the first thing I said to Edibs when we started making this was like, listen, if you get interrupted by your girlfriend, don't worry about it. Just roll with it. If you have to go into the toilet, just go. No one gives a shit, alright?
No, Will.
The only thing I'm
No.
wondering about right now is, about an hour ago my cat came into my room, and I wonder if my microphone picked up any of her meowing. So
I
that's
didn't
something
hear
people
anything.
can look out for. I told you an hour afterwards. Have fun.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Anyway, 2018, Endless is the coolest dude on the server. Just
He still is. He still is very, very cool.
even if I have,
By the
I
way,
should talk-
even if I
I should talk
accidentally
to Emma
summoned
more.
a whole array of demons while trying to get him back, he's still the coolest dude.
By telling just the simple words, Legend of the Galactic Heroes in all of the languages.
It's space
That ever
politics
existed.
in all of the languages, because we came to
Oh
call
yeah,
the show
space
space
politics.
politics, just like we called Ex-Kaiser robots. Because
That's
it's too basic to
good
use
name.
the actual name of the show, so you have to use a nickname like Hell.
I mean, that I feel like is a
That's a
culture,
that's a
yeah.
consistent
Yeah, it's a
thing
constant with
we
every.
all do.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Wilcoms is hell, and yeah, it's very true, very true. Like me and Yark just rewatched A Place Further Than the Universe, and we just called it Penguin.
Which confuses me
It's-
because I didn't know that show as Penguin. So at first I was thinking, what is Penguins? Is Penguin Drum? Is it Penguin Highway?
yeah,
is
no.
it,
yeah.
Is it Penguin's Memory? The war drama? Like the
Nope, just
the post-traumatic
just
stress
sorry,
syndrome
Yori.
movie from the 80s that has penguins instead of real soldiers. That's an interesting thing I
just
should
sorry,
watch.
Yori.
Thanks Miki, by the way, who actually brought that to my attention. That's one of the few anime I hadn't heard about, because it's a 1985 movie. Maybe 1984. Definitely a movie.
By the way, Sora Yori is one of those digitakes that are god awful, and I think like all of her community disagreed with her like from the very beginning. God, that's a bad take.
Yeah, it's
Fucking hell.
1985. Good to know.
Anime. Sora Yori's good, guys. Watch it. It has penguins, and it's very pathos driven, very hype show. good stuff. Good existential hype, as Pepsi would
By
say.
the way, who's on my drain
True.
once people commonly start calling everything that looks like anime, who will join me in calling it Japanimation?
What?
Like, when people
What?
start misusing the term anime to mean anything that isn't anime,
Oh,
will
right.
you start calling it Japanimation with me?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Japanimation was already a
Yes.
thing.
I mean, okay, no, actually no, because
Are you saying that we're going to go back to
Yes,
Japanimation because
Japanimation.
people keep...
Japanimation!
okay, we very well might, but
I just
I
love
am
that
sort
term,
of-
it's so stupid.
But anime is a Japanese
Yeah, but
colloquialism.
Japanimation is an English colloquialism.
It's true. I do remember that term being more of a thing when I was a kid, and I do remember quite liking the sound of it.
let me just say that the nationalization of an art form is very cringe.
I think there's the problem. Like, anime doesn't refer to animation. It refers to animation of that specific school that just doesn't exist outside of Japan.
No,
Just
see,
makes sense. to
okay, well,
nationalize it
I don't
like
know if I
that.
agree with this take. I mean,
I know. I'm not talking about the term anime. I'm really here. What I was alluding to, of course, is Howard again.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Make of that what
Howard
you
is
will.
retarded, but that doesn't make arguments that are
Yeah, Howard-
that are similar to Howard not automatically
How-
retarded.
like Howard is just he's taking it too far in the other direction. But I definitely think like having some kind of broad national identity associated with an art form can be good in its own ways. Like you, like Japan and like an anime, like Japanese animation, like you can't like unravel the two from each other. Like
Right.
just like you couldn't.
Of course.
You
I mean,
know.
Japan specifically made anime their part of their identity. Like the government pushed for that. Like it's literally what they do. It's the cool Japan, right?
Yeah,
it's part of-
if like what's the point of having the bagpipes if you don't have the association with Scotland? Like if you remove that association, then the bagpipe becomes a completely shit
course.
instrument. So I mean,
what I'm
like,
saying is,
Well, the
don't be a
bagpipe is
fascist about
actually
it.
a common European instrument that was used all
listen,
over the
listen, Dark,
continents.
listen, Dark. Shut the. I'm talking about modern. Listen, I don't give a fuck. Shut up.
Anyway, national.
This is a classic Dark correcting someone and just people rolling their eyes.
I mean, it's just a
Listen,
thing that people don't know. Like, the bagpipe was a European instrument. I don't even think the Scots invented it. It's just associated with
bagpipes.
them because they were the last to still use them.
Bagpipes is a symphony instrument. Fucking, just don't be a fascist about it, right? I can play bagpipe. I'm a Canadian. Like nobody gives a fuck. So technically, you can make anime even if you're not Japanese. Like that's what I'm saying. Just don't be a fascist about it. Obviously, like I wonder what Howard would think of people like Kevin Penkin or Evan Call, which are of course not Japanese composers working in the anime industry. Like, are those people based because they're otakus? That's probably his take. We'll see. We'll see what time.
Basically,
Whatever.
the national frame is just a useful lens. That's how I approach all of that. Like, one
I mean-
language is a
I mean,
useful
that's very true.
lens, one nation is a useful lens. I mean, I know that from history, because since the 19th century, history was basically written as national political history. That was the preferred lens. It was a useful lens for examining the times. But also, in the 20th century, you had all the directions of social history, international history, and looking at those topics, and you had there was things you couldn't have learned if you didn't look at it nationally, but there's things you couldn't have learned if you hadn't looked at it internationally. That's why I think the anime lens is very useful, because it's a very specific case where a lot is in the national context, and obviously you should go outside of the national context. Like, go into the obscure Russian films that Yamada has watched that influence her filmmaking. Please do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just accept that anime is a useful category. That becomes less useful if you put Chinese and Korean shows into the same category.
Very
I
true.
mean,
that's
I also feel like I don't know. Again, fuck genres. Like, I don't think that. I mean, famously, like I don't think that there's much to be gained by specifically attempting to make something as an
By labeling
anime
stuff. Yeah.
as a Westerner. I mean, like, it's
Labels are garbage.
But
yeah,
they're useful
and I
sometimes.
mean,
That's the problem.
like, also, like, you're. I mean, you can get ideas from anywhere, and the broader of a range that the ideas are pulled from, and the more interesting and juxtaposition things that are,
Juxtaposition.
yeah,
You got
Words.
corrected by the French guy.
that are put together, like, the more interesting that they can potentially turn out to be.
Yeah, the more
if it's
words
well
your words
executed.
are, the words they are,
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Words.
But I had a broader point there, but that works.
Yeah, words.
Welcome to the podcast where nobody completes anything they want to say because they always
Well,
Who cares?
Well, now I'm getting into the little bit of a cross-faded zone, so
Yep.
it's harder to keep track of things.
I'll
so.
give you
Yeah,
another half
I
an
mean-
hour and then you're asleep.
forget.
Dark, listen, bro, I'm not that much of a lightweight, okay, my guy.
Well, we're
I
keeping
can-
this
I can-
podcast running for a long time. You know why.
Okay, listen. Most of the time that I have fallen asleep, it's just because my sleep schedule is actual trash. It's not because
Podcast until Edub sleeps. Podcast until
Yes.
Edub sleeps.
no. I have work tomorrow. I'm good, but
Me too. I'm just joking.
no, fucking yeah, like the main thing that always gets referenced is the fucking God, what's that movie called?
Girl, walk on. Walk on,
Fucking
girl.
Yeah,
walk on,
yeah,
girl.
yeah,
The
Walk
night
On,
is
Girl.
short.
Okay, I didn't have any hard liquor. What I basically did was I had the, like, really cheap booze, like the stuff that's, like, it gives you the most alcohol, like, but it's only like it's basically like a big 40-ounce like 8% ish type thing, but it's like 250 USD per bottle. Per glass bottle, so it's really cheap to get, and I guess I just was a little bit too enthusiastic about the possibility of getting drunk, and I maybe just went a little bit overboard.
Unforgivable, Edubs. That's my second favorite movie.
Luckily,
I
I
know,
don't have
I'll-
any problems like that. Even if I'm that tired, I will have to go to bed and then lie there awake for an hour before I fall asleep.
See,
the-
Nyard also said the same thing. We had an interesting little mini discussion about that. I think there's just some different wavelengths with alcohol, and I'm just not on the same one as, like, a lot of people that get, like, real excited and energetic and shit. I don't
Well,
do that.
I've never drunk,
can't
so
fall asleep.
I can't tell you anything about
I
the
can't-
alcohol experience, except that it's cringe.
I can't fall asleep if I'm watching something. The only time it happens, it happened to me involuntarily, of course, because I mean I watched some videos to fall asleep, but was I think when we were watching Votoms actually Dark. I fell asleep for like 5 minutes during an episode. I was like, holy shit, the episode is over, and then I just. Holy fuck! I couldn't go back and watch it. It was during when they're on the fucking sunset planet.
Yeah.
God.
I mean, I
And
don't
it's
know
not
why you
it's not
could,
even that the show
I
is
don't know why you could fall
bad.
asleep
It's-
during that part because it's super great.
Yeah, it's just so good. It was so fucking good. I mean,
I once had an experience like
it had
that.
nothing to do with. It had nothing to do with the show. I was just fucking dead.
I had an experience like that. I've told people about the night where I watched all of High School of the Dead, and then I watched Girls in Panzer the
God.
movie, and then I watched the Gundam 083 recap movie, and during that I was just fading in and out of existence for an hour, because it was the worst movie I've ever seen. Well, actually, the Nadia
That's how it
movie is
goes.
worse, to be fair. But like, that movie is just a shitty recap where they cut out all the cool action and everything that makes the action cool. Like you get all the scenes with the one-armed Xeon pilot, except for the fight.
You guys keep talking. I'll be right back. 30 seconds.
Sad because you're the person who actually has seen the show, so you know what the problem is.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I haven't actually seen that movie yet.
Don't watch
so-
the movie, watch the TV show. Like basically the problem is that it leaves in a lot of the characterization, but cuts out small details that make it actually good, which people disagree with me on, of course, because people hate the show for some reason. They cut that out. They cut out all the cool action scenes, which are definitely the bread and butter of 083, because it's one of the best looking things in the world. And that's, by the way, super hype when the Votom's Shining Heresy Blu-ray remaster comes out in February, when that OVA will finally be shown in the same quality. Like, that has the same animation
Yeah.
quality as 083, but for scope dogs. For fucking scope dogs. Imagine.
You even get scope dogs into that much definition? It's kind of
Yeah.
insane.
It's insane. Obviously. Especially 2D scope dogs. All the new ones are CG, as you might know. Except,
It saddens me that the first time that I was ever exposed to a scope dog was a YouTube video about Super Robot Wars. But
is it one where Kiriko shoots God with his pistol?
No, I don't remember the specific context. So there was a video where it was basically a compilation of like I think it was like a longer form thing where the Super Best Friends, which was a video that was or not a video, a channel that used to be on YouTube. They were playing Super Robot Wars, and I don't think that they had seen Votoms either, but they knew about it. And so when the scope dog came out, they were pretty much just commenting on like how sick the name Scope Dog is, and how Scope Dogs like essentially like the reason why they're so cool is basically that they're not really that cool. They're just grunts, but they're so grunty that they're so cool, and how like grunty jobber kind
And they
of
just
type
have
mechs that
so
they
much
are.
detail.
Like
Easily
They
one of the
just
best
are so
mecha design of
real.
all
They are
time.
the most real robots in the world.
yeah,
They're like more real than pet labor.
Yeah.
yeah.
They're absolutely incredible.
By the way, my audio might now be out of sync because my Chrome decided to kill my RAM for a second. So
Oh.
you have to look into that. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
I'll be fine. Fucking Super Best
083
Friends.
anyway.
I've never watched them. I've never listened to them.
Okay.
But everything I did listen or hear about them is like the most base thing ever. Recently, Hipster Cthulhu fucking linked because I posted a picture of like my backyard, like fucking covered in snow, and
The same
of course,
pictures that you showed us.
yes,
Yeah.
I posted
Okay.
them inside of Digicord at one point, but whatever. The point is, there's of course the spiral staircases of Montreal in that picture, and and fucking hipster Cthulhu was like, "Oh, is that the fucking infamous Montreal spiral staircase of doom that I heard so much about?" And I was like, "What? Where'd you hear about that? I mean, it's true, but where?" And then he linked me like a podcast of the Super Best Friends because, of course, they live in Montreal, right? Fucking
Yeah.
going deep into Montreal lore, and it was like the most relatable thing I had ever seen, ever
Yeah,
heard.
yeah,
It was
they-
incredible.
They are they are your fellow Quebecois, and yeah, it's really weird because they were like a really integral part of my life for like their whole entire original run from their very very early machinima stuff. So that would probably be, I think it was like 2010, somewhere in there. It was like a really long time ago. And I very much like habitually followed their content all the way up until they had an end to their run. Like I basically, as someone that was like never really into music like for bands specifically, I never really understood the whole like bands breaking up type deal. But like, dude, like after following them for like 9 fucking years, I think that was their like total like runtime was like their like 9 years until they split over creative decisions and I think business decisions as well. But um, yeah, like it was so weird because like I would habitually like like every day or every week at least like check and see what they were doing, like maybe watch some of their videos. And if you actually looked at their statistics over like on each video, because essentially what they did was they did like very old school, like we're gonna play a game over we're just gonna play the whole entire game, and it doesn't matter if it's like a 50 part playthrough. uh we're gonna do it, and like each video is like 30 minutes to an hour long. um
Yeah.
and so yeah, it was one of those things where like, and again, like they had a lot of like really like long time like long running memes and in jokes and references. And it was one of those things where if you'd watch them for that long, like dude, it's so weird because like you can just quote so much shit from them that like only other people that watch them would understand, which is I think part of the reason. And again, like they're because basically what it was they wouldn't get like a whole fuck ton of views on their shit, right? Like they would maybe get like 50 to 100,000 max, but they would consistently get that on every single video, like no matter when it was. Like they would pump out like a million videos a month because they'd be playing a few games at a time and getting big sessions in, and then splitting up the
I
playthroughs.
mean, I've never, as I said, never really interacted with them, but even now I'm going to quote them now because of that short podcast segment I listened to. Barry Yukam, clean it with napalm. That's the best thing I've ever heard. Also, Wellington Street, what a fucking shithole. I love it. Yes, exactly. That's how. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like you would appreciate them just for the fact that they live in the exact same
Yeah,
place that you do.
yeah.
And they have a lot of interesting and funny things to say about it.
I, it's
Yeah,
but yeah. For those unaware, yes, Montreal, one of these biggest cities that would get completely covered in snow and ice. We always have our staircases on the outside of our buildings, and they are spiral, aka very dangerous. And it's just something we have for some reason. But
Well,
Edith,
that
you
sounds like
just
the worst thing in the world, by the way.
It
Never.
is, but
Imagine going outside to get up the stairs. Never.
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, Edith, you talked about like Ben breaking up and how that sort of how it felt with Super Best Friends. That's kind of how I felt, when fucking Ben, Devu, and Devu lived at Digi's house, and then they all went away, and then Digi had this really like dark and emotional video, like "Alone in the Void," I think it
So
was called.
that's one of the best. That's one of the best.
That's one.
GV
That's one of
logs
the
ever.
best. Yeah, yeah,
Amazing.
and that really will fucking hit me so hard, in like in the same way that you described here. It's like, damn, they're going away now. They're separated. Shit.
yeah, yeah. It's something where you take it for granted, and then reality hits
Mm.
down the road, and everything comes to an end, and you're like, oh shit.
Yep.
Well, we had a second season with Tom at least. It was really fun.
True.
I Am Games was
I am
great.
games.
Took up all of my free time with the streams, but was great.
I am games was great. It really was.
And I
I Am
guess it still
Games.
exists. I'm still in the server, but it's like dead, sadly. Because Digi just left it to die, and Tom was dying. Literally dying at the time.
Literally dying.
I
Yeah.
think Tom is better now, so that's good. Not sure though. Like, I haven't
Alright.
listened to the procrastinators. There's more 2018 I could talk about, actually.
God, isn't it fucking wild that there's a Discord that exists that's literally just dedicated to fucking Digi's neurotyping bullshit, and it's like active, and
Really?
it has like a whole entire separate community of posters on
What the
Digicord.
fuck?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was not aware of that.
of course that exists. Of course the Neurocord exists.
Yeah, Neurocord. I'm surprised you're not familiar with this lore. Yeah, they are very active. They have their own community, and they're pretty much entirely separate from us. Like they barely even know about
Stop.
us.
Yes.
You can stop. That's the worst thing I've ever heard.
Yes. I mean, there's also an entire server dedicated to Walls I wrote, which also has a Symphogear discussion channel, which just has the rules set to that nobody can post in it.
Really?
Also, I'm the only member of the server, so it doesn't really matter. It's the one I got the idea for the name for that I never used. The Kingdom of Memes and Madness.
Very clean, Dark. Very clean.
I was
Fucking
thinking
hell.
about just implementing that one on the proper Digicord, but I decided against that. Because I thought that would be
Yeah.
too much of a troll. The AIDS Orphan Torture Camp was enough.
Yeah, but
Should I have
it's-
just called it Symphogear General?
No. No.
Okay.
Well, Dark. I'll be upfront and I'll say that you were a much better guest than I was expecting.
I'm still
uh,
here. I'm still a guest. I can still go on for hours, by the way.
I'm sorry, Dark. You're dead already. You just
No.
haven't realized it.
Yes.
No.
Wow, motion data.
Yeah, we're getting up to the part where
We still have
yeah.
to go for 40 minutes, you know.
Why? So you can beat Nyard?
Yes.
No. Here, we're gonna blue ball you a little bit. But we will definitely have you back on at some point.
You know
maybe-
what I will now do? I will just go into the Digicord voice chat and talk to someone for 40 minutes, and that will be at the end of the podcast. I'm already filibustering it if you're not noticing.
No, I haven't actually noticed that yet. Did you go into the Digicord voice chat?
No, but I could because Lolicon is there.
Oh,
I
babe.
think
Oh,
Lolicon is currently playing Minecraft,
Yeah, probably playing Minecraft.
like a basic god.
Yeah, but we will definitely have you back on at some point.
Yes,
Well,
I
let
can
him-
even talk
let him
about
go, though.
Cumbrack
Let him
in any...
continue. Jesus, Edams.
Like, I've talked about 2 months, effectively. And I haven't even described those very well.
Okay, but
Like, I'm not in
everybody else,
December yet.
everybody else, listen. You don't understand the way that the content works. We can get multiple episodes with the same person. We can just have
Yes, but after all the others have been on.
Let him go for at least the time that Yard went. Well,
Oh my god. Okay.
Let's
there
see.
we go.
There's a few things I wanted to talk about. I never finished up with Luke because Luke was pretty cool at the time, or Olivia now. Like, I never interacted with Olivia. I blocked Olivia before Olivia transitioned. That's my story. Because
Got
at
it.
some point Olivia was just posting me with like very unsolicited political questions that were about positions I barely held and that were very inflammatory in their nature. And I had told them off, and they kept doing it, also in relation to the Minecraft server, where I literally posted about having found the stronghold on the map. And then I got a question, what do you think about climate change, and why does your ideology fight against doing something against climate change? Something like that. Then I just blocked Olivia, and that's the end of that story. That's in May 2019, by the way. Like, if Olivia has
Rip.
changed, if Olivia wants to talk to me, I'm here, but that's why I blocked you, and you're probably aware of that.
Yeah,
Right.
don't get political. Jeez. Cringe moment.
Don't get political
my
with
head.
me when I don't want to get political with you. Like,
told
leave
you.
me alone with bullshit that you know I don't want to talk to you about. That's
Yeah.
pretty obvious.
That's good. That's a good way to go at it.
And politics is often the thing that people will not want to talk about, as I've observed on myself and on other people. And people like Solid CS, who is completely
I mean-
against any politics stuff, by the way.
I mean, I talked to you about politics a little bit,
Yeah,
a little tiny bit.
my take on political discussion is that the more people you have, the worse it is, and at a number greater than 2, it's unusable. And you can
I
only
mean,
really do it in
political
in-depth
discussion.
discussions that really
Don't you
respect each
mean-
other.
Don't you mean Facebook and Love Live memes?
I know
Listen.
that's what the channel is. I was the
Listen.
most active political discussion poster besides Nyat before political discussion existed, because I routinely took apart Howard's arguments that were anti-historical. It's like,
Listen,
I have experience. And that's also
Little
why I
discussion
think
goes
that.
in and out of phases. There's good seasons and then there's off seasons. And even during the off seasons, it's still a fun place to just go fuck around in my opinion. So
I thought it was just annoying I was very early on very, very upset with it, because I was done. I realized long before Nyat that it was not a good idea to endlessly keep talking with Howard, because at one point I realized that Howard was either insane or a troll, and both are not worth engaging. That's my approach
Yeah.
to a lot of people that I have blocked. Either they are trolls or they are insane. Either way, I don't want to talk to them. That's like half of my blocks.
well, I will say like a good solid like 70% of my engagement with the Digicord has been through Anime Talk. Like just going by message count, like that's a huge majority of my total message count.
Yeah.
Um,
I think
but
the same goes for
For
all
most,
three of us here.
for most people.
yeah, like fucking political discussion, especially the little bit that we had when I first joined. That was one of those good seasons. That was a very good season. Like we were just going hard in political discussion like almost every day.
Okay,
And-
I'm not at 70%. I'm more like 60%. But yeah,
I'm
it's
at
a-
over 70.
it's 85k or 83k to 56k in anime. So,
Yeah.
I have 125k and 94k of those are in anime.
yeah.
I'm the first person, if with a bit of luck, I'm the first person to get 200,000 messages in one channel. Depends on Pepsu. Because
Right, Pepsi's gonna get it in general.
Pepsu has about
Wait,
twice as
what
much
is
to
what is
go in
Pepsu at in
general.
general right now?
Pepsu has 82,000 in general. 82,745. to
Holy
be
shit, dude!
precise.
Pepsi is so strong. Jesus Christ.
No, Pepsu knows how to press enter. That's the difference between
But
Pepsu
yeah,
and
that's a
wall
power.
posters.
That's a power in and of itself. Look. Even if you took away that part though, like he really do be lighting up general like hard.
Yes.
Like it's very sick.
Dude. $35 at the bar? The Mao. What the fuck? Bar is so expensive.
Like,
Coconut
dude.
milk or alcohol?
Dude,
Strange to see any kind of milk at bar. Alcohol, duh! Just talk to the bartender's ears off about bones, see? Nonsense! I mean, drink world. Now I'm gonna go home and listen and dance to old
I'll
Prince
just
music.
repeat that compact
Kick
mode
W.
screenshot that is just Pepsu, 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 Pepsu. Just 1,000 one-liners. Nothing else. Just Pepsu. Just the name Pepsu.
Guys, get hyped for the Pepsi episode where we're going to talk about anime tits for 3 hours.
But like, dude,
nice.
Dude.
Dude, it's so. I love just like going into general with a ping, and it's just like Pepsu, and he just zooms in on his own monitor, and he's like zooming in on my name, and he just goes, "Dude."
you know, I'm constantly missing all those memes because I can't download the videos. Discord won't play them for me. My download
Fucking
speed is too shit.
Getting pinged by Pepsi for something random is always a blessed moment. It's in my case it's always, dude, drink, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, Pepsu never adds me because whenever I interact with Pepsu, I'm low-key arguing against whatever Pepsu is saying. I was like, when Pepsu is
Which,
on
as
a
you
rant,
should
I
know-
like to go in
You should
between.
know this is completely futile.
Yeah, I know.
It's like arguing with you. You're a complete wall. Pepsi is just a fucking. I don't even know what he is. He just goes all in all direction at once. You can't do shit against that.
Dude.
Dude, all right, keep going.
Scam
What's
world.
going on? Political discussion. Luke, you were done with Luke. Block.
I mean,
her.
I always liked
Olivia.
talking to Luke because I could always interact with Luke in fun ways. like making fun of the P stuff, all that stuff, bullying Luke into
Yes.
liking Hidamari's sketch. That was a fun part, where I would use screenshots from Hidamari's sketch to bully Luke into accepting certain positions. Like, I want to be mean
Nice.
today, and then I would just post a set Then Luke would not be mean anymore. It was very fun. That's also why you need 4,000 screenshots of Hidamari's sketch.
Yep.
Everyone needs that. That was a great part. I would every day, when I watched the episode, I would spam a couple dozen Hidamari sketch screen caps in Anime Talk.
I'm sure I'll get there when I continue my rewatch. I think I have for something like 500 for the first season. So maybe not 4,000, but
I should rewatch the
That'll
first
be a
season
lot.
with a good torrent and do all the screenshots, because I only really got into the rhythm in Hoshimitsu, sadly. So I'm mostly missing
Anime
those screenshots.
screen cap taking culture. Very based.
Yeah. Oh yeah, group watches were all going on in 2018, mostly with Nihat watching old OVAs. It was pretty fun. Like, we watched Bubblegum Crisis together. We actually had a lot of
Fucking
scheduling
boomers.
issues at the end of 2018. But we watched Giant Robo
Dude.
together. That was fun. We also had Kaisumi
again-
on that. He fell asleep halfway through the first episode.
Amazing. Giant Robo.
Giant Robo.
Falling asleep.
Yep. It's Kaisumi.
There's never been.
And
Listen.
those are words I never thought I would hear in the same sentence.
Well, you would expect to hear them with the word Kaisumi in the same sentence.
I mean, true. That totally changes the equation.
It was actually the time when I really realized how good Giant Robo was, because when I had originally watched it, it was just like, It was 2017, I didn't really yet appreciate all the stuff it actually did and how cool it was. And then when I
Giant
rewatched
Robo
it,
is so fucking cool.
yes, giant robots are cool. Giant, old, mechanical-looking robots are the best thing in the world. That's why Big O is based. That's why the parts of Kurumi are based. That's why Kishin Heidan is based, which we still haven't watched. I've been meaning to watch
We
that
still
with you for
haven't
1.5
watched
years. Fuck.
Listen. Okay, let's watch Kishin Heidan after fucking Galleon.
You know, I wanted to watch that one with Nihat from the very beginning. That's how old that idea is. If
Yard, watch Kishin Heidan with us.
if we can organize it, yes. That would be cool.
That
I
would be cool.
have very few memories at this point. Was also one night in 2017 when I just watched that entire thing. It was great. I even liked it more than
Yeah.
Giant Robo at the time. That's how much I like that show. I mean, it's just so insane. Like I said, it has
Yeah,
Nazis, it
I
has
mean-
aliens, it has giant robots, it has Eva Braun as one of the main characters, who cooperates with Albert Einstein. Yeah. It's fucking
Okay, that
insane.
sounds fucking great.
It's fucking insane. Like, you can't believe it was made. It doesn't even look like anime if you look at it. It looks more like Big O, but it doesn't even look like anime. That's the most important thing. Like, the only torrent, as you might know, is a half-dead torrent from the original group Grey Phantom. Named after the space battleship, the Pegasus-class carrier in Gundam 0080. Like, I didn't know that thing was called Grey Phantom before I read their thing. Because they were born out of a group called White Base. That's why they're called that.
Yeah.
I guess
no, yeah,
if they were to reform nowadays, they would name themselves Thoroughbred. Because that's the ship from 083, right? I think it's called. Gundam ships. Big important names.
Gundam ships.
The most important one is the radish, of course. You remember the radish and the squid.
Radish and the squid.
The radish from Zeta Gundam and the squid from Victory Gundam.
Yeah, I remember the radish.
The squids, the Zenscare
don't.
ships with the 4 things.
Right.
Those are the
yeah,
squids.
I mean, okay, those are squids. Yeah, I mean those are extremely based, of course.
Yeah, it's wait, no, the Thoroughbred is one that isn't in any anime. Okay, which one is it? It is mentioned in Mobile Suit Gundam 2, that's why I remember the name. The
What's
Albion.
Mobile
The
Suit Gundam
Albion.
2?
Albion is from 083.
Albion, 083, yeah.
It's the Scottish ship.
All right, keep going in the timeline. Let's not
Where
get
were we?
sidetracked.
Endless was a guy who
We were at-
I basically watched. Like, I talked a lot about stuff that we watched at similar times. That was very interesting. Like, we all agree that Whisper of the Heart is the greatest movie of all time. And like,
It is absolutely goated. That is very true. I would probably place it as my third or fourth favorite anime movie.
Endless watched
depending
it.
on how much I love Rebellion in the
I
moment.
think Endless watched it without me explicitly telling him, but then he watched it and was like, "It was a great movie," and I was like, "Yo, that's my favorite movie. What are you doing? It's amazing." Then we got Riz to watch it, who Nyad mentioned, who really wasn't active at the time even. Like, Riz was never active in the time that I was very active. Like, kind of in September, but after that also very few things. Like, he's a Filipino dude who finished his studies, I think. I think he's full-time working now or something. I think he just doesn't have time for this stuff. Happens to the best of them. Like,
Yeah.
we got Nyad to rewatch it because Nyad's initial take was that it was like a 6 out of 10.
Oh, that's a cringe one.
And
Nyar tends to do
we
that.
got
Jesus
Nyad to
Christ.
agree that it's an absolutely great movie with lots of heart. That's the movie with the most heart in all of anime.
I mean,
I think we...
Nine is short. Walk on Girl exists.
Does it have heart in the title?
No.
Well, neither does Mimio Sumaseba.
It has both the words Aruke and Otome, which are two of the like most beautiful Japanese words.
I think we got Luke to watch it. We got a whole lot of people to watch it. Like, if you look at my 2019 Digicord favorites spreadsheet that I made based on the anime favorites on Mal, that thing, you will see that the Ghibli movie that's by far in front is Whisper of the Heart.
Based.
I still take pride in that.
Very
That's also, it's around the time when I got everyone to watch Crusher Joe. Crusher Joe was an even bigger success because it was an even more obscure movie. And yes, I just happened to watch, like I was talking about how my Crusher Joe torrent wouldn't download for a week. You might remember those passages from other stuff, but that also was with Crusher Joe.
Yeah.
Then I watched it and posted screenshots from it. Nyat was interested and then watched it later when I told him. And then we got all kinds of people to watch it, and most really liked it. Rogol wasn't a big fan. I think Fundy wasn't a big fan. Kaisamir wasn't a fan if he watched it.
He hasn't seen it yet. Fucking Tenny doesn't want to watch it because he thinks he's gonna agree with
There's
Rogol.
one other person that didn't really like it, I think. Most people really did love that movie because it was like...
It's Crusher Joe.
And like based. 2 years later, I talked with Tang. Like, where he didn't know that Crusher Joe had less than a 7 on Mal. I think he wasn't even aware of the big Crusher Joe thing on the server. Which was really funny because Tang is like, it's Tang.
Tang, watch Giant Gorg, you
Yes,
fucking
watch
piece
Giant
of shit.
Gorg. Everyone watch Giant Gorg. And then watch Galliant.
Yep. God,
How the
Galliant
fuck is
great
Crusher Joe at a
opening.
6.83? It's a travesty. I think we'll have to go to the Bloodbath Highway and kill all of them.
Yep.
Blow them all up with 10,000 missiles.
Fucking Crusher Joe's based. Rogol.
The worst thing about the Japanese economic downturn is that they didn't give Yoshikazu Yasuhiko unlimited money anymore. That's the single worst consequence. And I guess Gundam Wing. But like... then again, Gundam Wing also seems like an atypical mistake in the history of Gundam. If you look at...
So weird. Such a fucking outlier.
If you look at G Gundam, and then immediately afterwards Gundam X. Gundam X did so many things right that Gundam Wing did wrong.
It's so weird. Like Gundam Wing, yeah, such a fucking anomaly. So many good staff on there. and yet somehow they just all shit the bed at the same
I
time.
mean, there's a lot of bad stuff on there as well, like Masashi Ikeda.
Yeah.
Although I shouldn't be too harsh on Masashi Ikeda, the only full-length thing I've seen by him is Gundam Wing. To be fair. Guess Takamatsu worked on it, but I'm not sure how deep his involvement actually was, because at the same time he was running a Brave series. Yeah. Because he directed 4 of those.
So, all right. Well, Endless is really cool. You're right about that. He still is to this day. But Endless, if you're listening to this, fucking watch Space Politics with Dark.
Yes,
Jesus
please.
Christ, poor Dark.
Please get into the
It's been more than a year now.
more than a year. We
More than
we
2 years.
started in December
I guess.
2018 from episode 25 when we
Oh lord.
when Endless started watching, and I decided, hey, I'll just watch with you. So like you catch up with me because I'm not watching fast anyway, and then we'll do this. And then we also decided to start X Kaiser, and then until February it went really well. And then Endless started his college saga, and then it just went to shit, basically. Because like he just didn't have time anymore, because like Endless told me a lot about how he had a 2-hour commute to his uni and
Listen,
stuff.
I will give you this tip here right now, Dark. Endless is currently waking up really early to watch Symphogear with Warp. So what you'll have to do is simply stalk his My Anime list and see when he completes XV, and then tag him in the morning.
Or I'll need to catch him after he finishes Symphogear for the day. Or do they just watch all
Yeah.
day?
Well, they do in the weekend, but not during the week.
I'll need
Yeah.
to get him into a thing where he is actually available daily, which will probably not happen because I will be the problem then. Like we are just 2 people who can't line up for group watches, sadly. Because group watching with Endless is really fun.
It is.
Oh yeah, by the way, did I tell you about this? My idea. I group watched X Kaiser with Endless. I group watched Firebird with you. I group watched Dagan with
Or
Shaheen.
at least the last
Well,
few
half of the
episodes,
show,
yeah.
effectively. We watched like half of the show together.
Was it?
I think
Okay.
it was something between 15 and 25 episodes. It was a load.
Uh,
And I did,
yeah, that
and
makes
we
sense.
did like watch independently in between as well. But like, doesn't matter. And I will watch
Yeah.
Dagan with Shaheen
What-
at some point.
Yeah, exactly. What
And then I'll
Shigara
need to
Shane.
find someone to watch Might Gain with.
Yo, Dark.
No.
Dark. You should
No.
group watch something with me. At some
Yeah,
point.
maybe.
I don't
I
care if
just
you've
can't
seen
think
it.
of anything that I would watch with you. Don't think we can't think of the overlap. Maybe some OVAs that you would be
And you need to-
interested in. That would be something.
You need to understand, Edubs, that if you're group watching something with Dark, you're not choosing what it is. Just
Oh,
just give
I'm
up.
cool with that. No, I'm
Just
cool
give
with
up
that.
on that.
I mean, I did let you choose the thing we were going to watch. You remember, Will?
I would at least knock out one, at least one episode a day at the very least. I'd be able to
That
do
would
that.
be cool. Just have to find something that I would want to watch with you like that. Has to be something that you also have some context into. And I don't think you have context into Gazaraki, for example.
What is
Gazaraki is a 1998 mecha anime by Ryosuke Takahashi, who did Votoms and Galleon and Dagrim and Leisner. And like,
I have unfortunately not seen
Yeah.
any of those shows. Although I might
and
watch
Intrigue
Votoms
in the
at some point.
Bakumatsu Irohane Hoheto. I think that's what it's called. It's also direct.
People will watch Votoms. Me and Dark
Yeah, please watch
initiated,
Votoms once the
something.
Blu-ray comes out. Don't start it yet. If you're Shaheen,
Yes.
then just watch it, I guess. But wait for the Blu-ray, generally.
Wait for the Blu-ray and then watch Votoms.
But
It's
when are the
great.
Blu-rays coming? It's 2021,
February.
my guy.
Coming.
February.
They're
Yes.
coming in February? Why does it take so long for these like new remastered Blu-rays
I don't
to come
know.
out?
It's just a thing. Like, Galleon got one earlier. That's weird. Like,
Why can't Japan get
You
their
know
shit
how-
together?
Dirty Pair, one of the biggest shows of the 80s, got theirs in 2019. Getarobo still doesn't have
Fucking
them.
Ashita no Joe is just now getting a
Well,
remaster.
it did get a remaster. It's just only the first 32 episodes did get the Blu-ray, and the rest was just on a good DVD. Which is probably,
Yeah.
which you can argue is
now it's
appropriate
gonna be
for
4K.
16mm film. But now we get the 4K master, which is obviously great, which I will watch
Yeah.
once
Me
it's
too.
released in
For fucking
2023. You have to remember that it's 78 episodes that will be aired weekly before they get released.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be extremely
Ye-
cool. But yeah, people watch Photons when
It's
the
one
Blu-rays
of my
come out.
big things with
It's really
anime, by the
great.
way, that all the things I want to watch, I will watch them in the future when they are better to watch. So now I'm in the now, it's harder to find the shows to watch. It's a big thing I've always
Yeah.
struggled with. I'm currently struggling with it because Inuyasha, I was supposed to watch Inuyasha after Ranma. Now I'm halfway through Lupin the Third Part 2 because Inuyasha didn't have a good release and still doesn't have. And after that I will watch Gintama, I think. If it
And
finishes.
you just
If it ever finishes. Because I don't believe in the final.
Oh, Gintama will finish. I think it is. I honestly think it is. Because the manga's over.
I mean,
So
I mean
just
there is a
gotta-
semi-final
just
that
gotta
airs
do it.
after the final, which is like a TV special relating to the final. I'm still waiting for the final part 2.
I gotta continue my
I guess
Gintama rewatch.
I
That's
guess it
another
aired 2 days ago. Yeah, 15th. 3 days ago for me. Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting through it at a pretty good pace. I'm up to like episode 120 now or so, and we're still watching it pretty fast. So
It will be the longest thing I've ever
Yeah.
watched if you ignore Gundam, which is just like Gundam is a bunch of single pieces that can fit together. Like there's over half a year between Victory and G Gundam. It doesn't matter. There's like half a year in which I watched 12 episodes of 8 from S Team between Wing and X. And there's 3 months, I think 4 months maybe, between X and Turn A, in which I watch Ideon, of course, which fits in.
It does fit in. Got it. Shit, I was supposed to finish Gundam by the end of 2020, but
Yeah, those goals
shit
aren't
happened.
good. Every year I'm thinking, yeah, this is the year where I'll watch every one of the top 100 mecha anime on Mal. And I know I could always do it, but I never do it. Because then I look at the list and the highest, like the most popular I haven't seen.
It's dreadful.
Guilty Crown, Darling in the Franxx, Date A Live, Infinite Stratos, Noah Zero.
Amazing.
And then it's the
Amazing
Eva
list.
movies.
well,
That's-
we're definitely gonna have the 3-man group watch
Yes.
of Alnoa Zero. It's
That's
definitely
that's the cream of the crop of the fucking
And
mecha
then you have
genre right there.
Saijaku,
yeah.
Doesn't get
you have
any better
Saijaku,
than this.
Muhaino, Bahamut, and 100. Paragons of shows that
What?
those
Okay.
are.
I
When we
guess
get when we
they're
when we
mecha somehow.
when we watch Alnoa Zero and we get to that one part that I always talk about, dude, I swear to God, I'm just gonna like, I'm gonna be so ecstatic, dude, to see it again. The fucking stupidity, like Jesus
Hype shit.
Christ.
You know, I always
Hype
joke
shit.
about how I'll
Yeah.
finish the second page before I finish the first page of Mal Mecha Anime. Because the second page is stuff that isn't on the front page, obviously.
Yeah, it's
Well,
the good shit.
It's also Macross Delta and Reno no Lagrange and Kanazuki
Oh,
no
God.
Miko. But also, for some reason, Keoro Gunso. Also, penguins. Penguins.
Okay.
Kenzen Robo Daimidala has penguins. The Penguin Empire is the evil guys in that show, I think. TNK, from the
God.
studio that brought us such classics as High School DD, School Days, Kanazuki no Miko, and Itsudate Mai Santa.
Remember 2 hours ago when I said that Dark just knows everything? This is what I meant.
Mel,
Um,
Dark is the guy who knows how to use Mel and AnyDB while he's talking. Okay? It's a strategy I have soon adopted. Like, often when I go into an anime step exposition dumps, you can see how I'm questioning myself because I'm at that point looking up the information.
Right. That makes sense. Anime is really cool, and y'all should watch
Yeah,
them.
like Sonic X.
And you should watch the animes that me and Dark watch, because we watch good
Right
things.
between Breakblade
Um,
and G Gundam. Sonic X. Oh, Rhea. Double O the movie.
Do
Will we watch?
people,
Are we going to watch Double O the movie together?
we could. I haven't
I
seen it.
only have
That's
the
true.
Gundam ZZ Frag and the special editions for Double O, and then I'm at the movie. Technically. Like, technically
Yeah.
there's like...
Yeah,
I
I'll-
think
I can
there's
definitely do
a
that.
small thing in between called Unicorn, but doesn't matter. It's some obscure
It's
shit
small.
that nobody cares about.
Fucking guys, take example on Shaheen and watch Farm Affinity with me and Dark, okay?
Shaheen recently watched
Yeah,
something
just do
that
that.
demolished our affinity. It's only at 92.6% now. They don't know what it was. I'm sad.
Only 92%. Shaheen,
They
how
were at
could you?
93.4. Imagine. 93.4.
Yeah, you're easy to have big affinity with.
Yes, because I
Dark.
don't have too many hot takes. I
Yeah.
guess my big shit on shows are Gundam Seed, which you shit on, and Ghost in the Shell Rise, which you shit on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
And
I mean, I haven't seen Arise, but yeah.
Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040, which if you don't shit on it, I will come to your house and murder you.
You'll okay. You'll send the Zaku. The fucking
One
okay.
Zaku.
I think
This
I
is no
think we're
Zaku
about-
boy. No Zaku. I'm sending the goof. The goof troop. Goof troop.
All right.
You just cut in the goof troop video right here.
Like fire, like sun, you're always number one. Yes. There's bunnies, there's pals. Yeah. You always seem to work things out. Can't you see you're two of a kind? Looking for every time. Report to the goof troop, and we'll always stick together. We're the goof troop, best of friends forever. Side by side, wherever we go, we're always ready to roll.
Now give me a beat.
We're the goof troop, and we always stick together. Oh, we're the goof troop, best of friends forever. Now we're calling everyone. Come on and join the fun. Report to the goof troop. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah.
Okay. More padding.
Yeah, of course, of course.
The entire
So
thing.
the entire thing. Yeah, you guys should have been looking at the screen right there. It's a really good meme.
You should actually do it though.
Oh, you think I won't? I will.
Do the
of course
whole
I
thing.
will.
Do the whole thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole goof troop. Yeah.
Put in the entire TV
The-
show.
Like fire, like sun, you're always number one. Yes. There's bunnies, there's pals.
Yeah.
You always seem to work things out. Can't you see you're two of a kind? Looking for every time. Report to the goof troop, and we'll always stick together. We're the goof troop, best of friends forever. Side by side, wherever we go, we're always ready to roll.
Now give me a beat.
We're the goof troop, and we always stick together. Oh, we're the goof troop, best of friends forever. Now we're calling everyone. Come on and join the fun. Report to the goof troop. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Yeah.
The entire all of Gundam.
All
of it.
of Gundam overlaid
still
with
makes
the
me
Goof
sad.
Troop OP. And then for the actual episode dialogue, it's Goof Troop dialogue fitted to the scenes. I want to see that now.
Gundam Seed, but every dialogue is just the goof troop.
Report to the goof troop, and
just goofy.
Report to the tower.
Well, you see, guys, that was actually pretty good. Wow. Never did a voice like that.
Fucking.
The screams,
God.
but it's goofy.
I'm a murderer.
We all know you're guilty.
Guilty.
And this is where we cut in the Gundam Seed screams for more padding, of course.
Yeah. I'll already have the clip, some other Gundam Seed clips from earlier. Guys, this podcast is just going to be all of Gundam Seed. It lasts 1 week, and
I mean,
you
Gundam
just
Seed
have
is
to
only 2
watch
days
all of it.
long. To be fair.
No, because it's all the version of Gundam Seeds
And-
plus
And the special editions,
plus-
and the special edition HD versions, HD remasters, and the regular HD
Yeah.
remasters, and Stargazer, and Astray, and Afterface Between the Stars, and the final, what's it called? Gundam Seed Destiny Final Plus The Chosen Future? I think that's the title of that
And-
thing.
all of that is garbage, by the way. And,
And
by the time you reach the end,
and
your brain is literally liquid, and you've forgotten all of it, and so you watch it again. That's why this podcast lasts 1
And
week.
the Gundam Evolve shorts, and the new animation of the Gundam Astray that doesn't exist.
Fuck Gundam Evolve for ruining my AMQ scores forever.
Yes, low key, yes. Although there's only one song I hear from it ever. I can't remember it. And we'll put
God.
in Gundam Wing for good measure. So you see what good anime can look like next to Seed Destiny, and what bad anime looks like next to Gundam Seed.
Okay, are we about done?
No,
I mean,
we still
what?
have 8 minutes to go.
No, Will, you fucking asshole. What do you mean? I thought we were going 5 more hours,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Will. Yeah, Will, you dick. Alright, so Dark, as you were saying.
I think one person I could mention is Mr. Cumrag.
Edubs is playing War Thunder,
Yes.
by the way.
A person called
What? Wait,
Sugoi,
what?
also
I
called
don't know. War
Oiron,
Thunder, what's that?
also called Comrade, also called Cumrag.
Or Coomer, or yeah.
Mostly
Coomer is what we
Cumrag
call
at
him
this point for
nowadays.
me. Who was cool, but also very young, very impressionable, I think, at the time where we started interacting. Like
Yeah.
back then I always thought he had a really open mind, he was very receptive. He was a lot like Shaheen in the beginning, actually. Just that he quickly developed to have a more biting sense of humor like mine, which Shaheen obviously doesn't have. Like, he won't go shit on anyone.
Shane is pure evil. I swear to God, he has a fucking plan. He's going to take over the server.
Yes,
It's
but
over, guys.
True.
You gotta. I will just say these conspiracy theories, and they will be proven true one day, and you will realize that I was right, and that Shaheen is the devil. He is Brazilian, after
yeah,
all.
that's what Shah does. Shah infiltrates.
The other day he went on a walk in Brazil, and he did not die. You know why? Because he's the fucking gunman.
He's the kingpin. He's the kingpin of some
The one.
Brazilian cartel.
Shaheen episode 1.
Yeah, Shaheen controls the drug trade in Mexico, by the way.
Why would he control the drug trade in Mexico when he lives in Brazil, Dark?
Because nobody would expect a Brazilian to do that.
Yeah. They can't understand Portuguese in Brazil, so they
The other way
Wait,
around.
you mean in Mexico? They can understand Portuguese. in
sorry, I mean
Brazil,
Mexico,
Will.
yes.
Okay. Alright, well, there we go.
The way we got
Listen.
Kamrek into watching with us, into the group watch, was because he was just interested in this stuff. Like, he just joined us for Bubblegum Crisis because he thought it was cool. At least that's how I remember it. I might be wrong on this, actually. I think he joined us. Yeah, he was with us for Bubblegum Crisis, and Warp then watched Bubblegum Crisis independently of us at the same time. That's how that went. That's also how he got into the Bubblegum Crisis Tokyo 2040 watch with him, if you remember that one.
I don't think I do now. I think the first group watch I remember very vividly for you and Comrade was
Harlock.
fucking Harlock.
Yeah, Harlock. We watched. Like, we had started Tokyo 2040 with Nyad and Toom and Warp, like 5 people in like early 2019. After we had finally watched the rest of Bubblegum Crisis, because it was stretched out over December and January, and Bubblegum Crash and AD Police. By the way, AD Police is super bass and you should watch it just like that. Like, it might be the best part of the Bubblegum Crisis entire franchise, as far as I'm aware.
No, it's Bubblegum Crisis episode 7.
Episode 8.
Episode 8, yeah, the last one.
Goodbye My Crisis is... Yeah, that's the best episode, but... The Norio Wakamoto episode, dude.
Holy shit, Shaheen reached 90.5 affinity with me.
The Man Who Bites His Tongue. That's fucking Kino. Like, all of AD Police is fucking
True.
Kino. And then we started watching
True.
2040 because I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch Bubblegum Crisis with you, but we'll watch the entire thing, okay? Because I had only watched the 80s stuff, because I was afraid. Like, I could feel that 2040 wasn't going to be good. And then 2040 was way worse than I had ever imagined. Like, I had low expectations, and my expectations were underwhelmed multiple times. It's
Fucking...
ugly, it doesn't have good music, it has terrible writing. Like fighting Konaka. Konaka is like an on-off dude. Like in Lane he's on, in Bubblegum Crisis he's off, in Big O he's on again. I don't get it. Like, this guy is cool, but his writing is
yeah.
sometimes so shit. Although I'm not sure if he did the complete adaptation of Bubblegum Crisis into a TV show, which just does so many bad things. Where was I? That sounds...
Alright, Dark, final question.
Okay.
What
The final solution.
So since asking your favorite anime would be boring, what's your favorite shonen battle series out of all the ones you've seen?
G Gundam.
Yes, G Gundam.
Alright.
Aiwa Itsumo Kono
Okay.
Ni.
Alright. Extra challenge round. G Gundam's not allowed.
I think the only Battle Shonen series I've seen. Wait. No, that's a seinen series. Needless is a seinen. I haven't seen any Battle Shonen series. Like,
Haven't you seen...
Ranma. Guess
You've
Ranma.
you've seen Yu Yu Hakusho, haven't you?
No.
Didn't
Oh,
you see?
Rama counts? Okay.
Ranma has fights sometimes. Although obviously the comedy is the best part. Although I do have to say, one of the best things about Ranma is how they have the couple bonding in the fights that they have in the show. That's a cool thing they should have done more in the show. Like character development through the fights and like relationship development through the fights. One of the many things that Ranma could have done more of, could have spun its wheels a bit less. I have an entire wall about how Ranma is just a victim of its adaptation time. You know the story. You can dig it
Yeah.
out if you want. Sad fate. I hope Inuyasha is a bit better in that regard, although I doubt it.
Probably.
Pretty sure Inuyasha is kind of
Thinking.
the bad one.
As the kids would say these days, Inuyasha is kind of mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. Although my only major, Hub always tells me that Inuyasha is not good, but he also told me that he dropped Urusei Yatsura at some point in Ranma, which I don't know if that is real, if that is his honest opinion, if it's just a manga. I don't know, but if you drop Urusei Yatsura, your opinions mean nothing. Let's just get that out of the way. Also a show that everyone should watch, just that... Yes, Beautiful Dreamer, by the way, that's still going on. Still haven't heard from that guy, from the Laserdisc ripper I contacted. Apparently he's just missing in action. Even Orphan hasn't heard from him. So like, if you have a Domesday duplicator somewhere, please contact us. Please strip that Laserdisc for us. Please. I beg
Yes,
They've
you.
been at it for
Please-
more than a year, guys. Help them.
Please generate cryptocurrency for Dark's Laserdisc /DVD archive It's
they
You
just
don't
very
even need
important.
they just wanna have a good, beautiful Dreamer
It's true.
release. Just please.
The things I need, I can't really get with money. I can only get them with connections by knowing people, because like I can't really go in there and learn how to really make a Doomsday duplicator, because it's like an electrical device that you have to assemble yourself with soldering and everything. You have to calibrate it yourself and all that stuff.
Oh, by the way, just saying, that's another thing that fucking Digicord got me passionate about. Not only being passionate about anime, but being passionate about spreading anime and all that stuff. Because you guys, you and Yar, just every day, just fucking talking about Beautiful Dreamer and how you're really trying hard to make that fucking release good.
And by every day you
that-
mean once every couple of months.
Yeah, for a few days.
Yes.
I mean, they're yeah.
It's a very hot
But
face
yeah, that
thing, because if we
that
had the
awakens.
thing, Nyat would just be away for a week and then we'd have an amazing release.
Yeah.
Because Nyat can do that. Like he's shown it with his, for example, with his Hoshi no Tabi. You know that he ripped from my Digicord torrent, or he didn't rip.
Yeah.
He re-encoded a DVD ISO, which
Right.
another guy did not do a good job of encoding. What's
So
his
yeah,
name?
that
Demon
sort
Hero.
of awakened my own passion about doing those sorts of anime
I was-
releases.
I was very
Shit.
happy to be a very small part
Yeah,
of the.
I'm disappointed that we just had bad luck with that. Like, I really wish
Yeah.
that would have been our key, but was kind of
Was
foreseeable.
the DVD just not
sadly.
good?
Yeah, the DVD was apparently not the missing link.
No, it's
Rip.
the Laserdisc. At this point, I'm convinced that if it isn't the Laserdisc, then only Toho can save us. Because Toho
In
now
10
has
years,
the
you're gonna
rights.
get the laser disc, and it's not gonna be the thing either.
I am
the Laserdisc
convinced
is
that the
gonna somehow
Laserdisc
be
is better
terrible.
than whatever the Manga Entertainment or whatever they're called US Manga Core brought us. Like the best thing
Yeah.
US Manga Core brought to the world is the CG MD Geist opening that they have. Because their company spokesmaker is MD Geist, even though MD Geist is a dude. It's a person.
he's
He's just-
he's just a dude wearing a very heavy suit of
Yeah,
armor.
he's a
Jesus.
genetically modified super soldier, but he's not a robot. He kills robots. That's his job. Literally exists to kill robots.
Fucking.
All right.
Jesus.
Well, Will, you want to do the ending shit?
Yeah, I mean, there's no real ending shit. It's just we'll have Dark again. We'll have Dark with other people as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll talk about early
and-
2019 then, and about Nyatcod, I think. Nyatcod is a whole thing that
Yeah.
I could talk about in my experience, which would probably be very helpful to the relations between me and Nyatcod in general. Which
Yeah.
this time
Yeah, I
just
mean, yeah.
didn't talk about it. Instead, I'm looking at Amazing as Nanako now. That's something we should watch for no reason whatsoever, by the way. I'm sure that's a good
Yeah.
show. 5.59 on Mel.
So yeah, Dark. It was great. Talked about anime mostly.
Well,
But yeah, we'll have Dark again. It's gonna be great. Next week, I do believe, is going to be Pepsu. I'm not doing any more than one episode a week because I have a life, and it's going to be
Anime
different because of school. But yeah, get hyped for Pepsu. We're gonna be shouting, I'm sure,
podcast
screaming
world.
anime. Yeah, podcast world, podcast world next week. All right,
Galleon
Hype.
World.
hype shit.
Galleon World right now.
Galleon World, right? Not right now. I'm tired.
Fucking.
Sad. Exclamation mark.
All right. Any final things to throw out there, Dark? Short,
Yeet.
preferably.
I'm sure I could come up with a good joke, but I don't want to bore you for 10 minutes. Gotta come up with a joke.
All right. Play fighting games.
Don't.
Watch Hunter x Hunter.
Yes.
Try psychedelics.
No,
Maybe.
never. Drugs
But
are
If you
also
so
watch
desire
Hunter
so.
And fuck you, Will. Play fighting games. I'm not. Everybody's not allergic to fucking video games like you
Yeah,
are.
play beat 'em ups. play beat 'em ups, guys.
I will play a fighting game once there's the good hunter in it.
Shake my head. He'll come to Smash eventually.
Play Bloodborne. Yeah.
Um.
I'll play Smash when they put Reimu in it.
Sick nasty farts.
All right. Yeah.
Podcast world.
Podcast world, dude.
Will the suspect please take the stand? Mr. Goofy, is it? Mr. Goofy, you are here today being charged with mass homicide. Yeah. And your lawyers here present. Now, from what I see here, there is strong evidence supporting the mass shooting. It looks like here you were caught in broad daylight on CCTV holding an AR-7. So you're admitting that the man in this footage is you. So you do admit that this very same footage right here, from the very same CCTV of you massacring a public elementary school, is you as well? Is that a yes? Can I get a yes, Mr. Goofy? He killed 27 children and crippled 5. Mr. Goofy, this is not a laughing matter. Mr. Goofy, what do